gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bungie, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living the dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living the dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gon' stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Bode.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living the dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, GM. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate all the legends who help us warm up and do all the things before I even have to ask you to. I'm only going to ask you one thing. There's everything you've already done, and if you're regulars, you know how to get this thing warmed up on X. But my one ask, we're going to keep it really simple this morning, and we're grinding towards 1,000 subs. So the one ask is, if you haven't yet given us some love over on YouTube, would greatly appreciate head over there. It's pinned up top. Just smash that subscribe button and it goes a long way. You may as well hit the like while you're over there, but at least hit the subscribe. It would help us out tremendously. We need to cross that 1K mark and help us get there. I mean, we get enough people in here on an average morning that we could hit it if each of you just did that little thing for us. We'd greatly appreciate it. But that said, going to jump right into things here this morning. A lot to cover actually today, and some exciting stuff, some good news after a couple of days of I don't want to say venting, but a little bit of venting, some frustrations, not the most exciting stuff, but we are back, and some action you may want to take today. Before we get into all that though, cold open material, literally cold, is this winter storm ripping through or preparing to rip through a large chunk of the country. Hope everyone stays safe out there, and I hope the weather people are wrong and you don't get hit with the ice or snow. It's funny, and it's not funny, but coincidentally, I was actually talking to Payne not long ago, our producer Payne, about a very memorable and impactful ice storm in my life. It was January of 2009. I had just acquired 3 Verizon stores and went into business for myself, left the cushy 6-figure corporate job and went all in on scaling my first real venture. And this was in like acquired the stores on November 16th, closed for a day, and opened them back up on November 17th after remodeling and rebranding 3 locations. And it was a real grind. Like there was no buffer. There was no, we didn't, I think was total capitalization was $90,000 to open up 3 stores. It sounds comical today to think about it because your average Verizon store is going to have over 90 grand in inventory alone. But I digress. This was the pre-smartphone era and inventory wasn't quite as expensive as it is today. But anyways, it was like losing money, even 1 month was not an option. And so we were grinding our faces off. Had a good start in November for following Black Friday and rode the initial new ownership momentum. Had a strong December. It's the golden time for wireless. And then early January hits, and there's a once in a lifetime, or I guess now twice in a lifetime, ice storm that rips through Western Kentucky and Southern Indiana, and it crippled the area. People were without power for weeks, and most people just shut their businesses down, stayed home. Fortunately, I had an incredible team that was buying into the culture that I had only had a few weeks to start creating, and they went above and beyond to the point where I had a store in Madisonville, Kentucky, out in the middle of nowhere. The store itself was without power for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. During that time, my store manager down there, he actually went to Kroger, which was operating off a generator, and set up a folding table in the front to sell accessories, primarily power chargers, because people didn't have chargers. Also, Verizon Air Cards, or I don't know what they call them today, basically Verizon broadband. It was 3G at the time, because people, again, no power, they were without internet. Verizon had generators in all the hardwired generators in all their towers, and kept things functioning. We didn't lose service. I mean, even landlines were down. The only way to communicate was with Verizon service, and it was a easy pat myself on the back. The reason I selected that market was Verizon was not the market leader. Where in Ohio, where I came from, they had 60-70% market share in most markets. They were the dominant wireless carrier in Ohio, the dominant network in Southern Indiana, Western Kentucky. They had the best network. They had, and it's really dating myself, but they had 3G wireless at the time, where AT&T, who was the market leader in that area, only had 1X. It was basically like dial-up internet speeds. And I thought, hey, this is an opportunity. Verizon, with good leadership and good people, we should be able to carve away substantial market share from AT&T. Just better. It's better service. And long story short, just a couple months into my business, this was proven. All the consumers in the area became very aware of this because AT&T lost service for weeks. Verizon didn't miss a beat, and due to an incredible team, I had, there was a story that was written up in the local business journal about, that us getting through that time and our quick success out of the gates. And I shouted out one of my store managers in Owensboro, Kentucky, who, I kid you not, was eating at an Olive Garden at like 11 p.m. at one night. And she overheard a conversation of a family that was out of service. They didn't know how to contact. She said, "Hey, I'm the manager at the local Verizon store up the street. Our service works. I can go get you set up if you want." Went to the store, called me for permission. I said, "Sure." Went to the store, got them activated with some new phones. I think it was like 4 or 5 lines at like 11:50 p.m. at night. And long story short, it was that storm, while tragic and unfortunate, and people were without power for weeks. The silver lining was it kickstarted my business. It was by, instead of just shutting down my stores and feeling sorry for myself, oh, woe is me, I just went all in on building a business, walking away from the cushy. Also, by the way, at the time, actually, family had, I think, moved down by then, but at first, like, they stayed back in Ohio or were looking for a home. And I started the business out of my in-laws' basement. And then I think we might have been living in like a 700 square foot rental home at the time when the storm hit. And it was probably in hindsight, the best thing that happened for my business, because it drove home the fact how superior Verizon was in the market. And it was a banner month in that January, while a lot of stores were closed, and it built crazy momentum. And we were able to tell that story, not facting people to death and telling them all the features and benefits of Verizon Wireless, but rather we were able to tell a story for the next several years. Oh, you remember the ice storm of 2009? we didn't miss a beat. Verizon didn't miss service. And anyone who didn't have Verizon, they did not have that experience. And what does that have to do with this upcoming storm? I don't know. Other than with many things, it's actually, I do know. I think my buddy Steve reposted something recently that just talked about the power of a positive mental attitude, PMA, as some would call it. I will pull it up here in a sec. Steve says, he quote tweets an article that went viral on X and says, I can't stress how critical this has been in my life. Most situations are neutral, and the emotions you assign to them frames how you view your world. Last year, I started looking at the bright side in every bad or stressful situation. At first, it felt silly, but the more I did it, the more it rewired my brain. Now I'm happy and more solution-oriented, as my immediate reflex reaction is almost always positive to any situation. And when it's neutral or negative, the focus shifts to what can I control here? I highly recommend doing this. Here's an example. If someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of being mad, think, I'm fortunate I didn't get into an accident, and maybe that person is running late for a job interview. Then realize how lucky you are to have a working car to get you to that place. Then think about where you're going, perhaps home to see your kids or out to see friends or to get food you're fortunate enough to afford. Suddenly, getting cut off doesn't feel so bad. And to be honest, you'll forget you got cut off in traffic in 2 days anyway, so it's never worth the stress. This is the article that he quote tweeted. Just as research shows, repeated complaining physically rewires your brain to prioritize stress and negativity. The way we speak about our daily challenges does more than just vent frustrations. It physically alters the architecture of the brain. When we engage in chronic complaining, we repeatedly activate neural networks responsible for detecting these threats and processing stress. Through the biological process of neuroplasticity, these circuits become stronger and more efficient every time they are used. Essentially, the brain learns to become more adept at finding ways to be unhappy about or finding things to be unhappy about, turning a temporary mood into a permanent biological predisposition towards negativity and fear-based thinking. All of these negative pathways become the brain's default setting. Individuals often experience a measurable increase in baseline stress levels, emotional volatility. The heightened sensitivity means that even minor inconveniences can trigger an intense stress response because the brain has been conditioned to interpret the world through a lens of threat. Findings discussed by the Stanford University School of Medicine emphasize that while the mechanism is powerful, understanding the science of effective neuroscience is the first step in consciously redirecting these pathways towards resilient emotional patterns. This was a 2023 study from the Stanford University School of Medicine, neuroplasticity and the impact of negative thought patterns and emotional regulation, Stanford Medicine News. I obviously had not seen this article in my early years, but I was very fortunate. I was probably 22, 23, and had a couple of mentors who turned me onto this way of thinking, and not just the power of a positive mental attitude, but your subconscious mind and how powerful it is and how you can rewire your brain. And, you know, if you've ever read Thoughts or Things by Napoleon Hill, the first chapter, or excuse me, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the first chapter in there is Thoughts or Things. Like whether you believe you can do something or believe you can't do something, you're usually right. Like your brain will find a way to convince you to get there. I'm not going to get all out there, cosmic, whatever this morning. But just as the ice storm, it does look to be an awful one. And be safe. You're there. Stock up with food and water and phone chargers if you can't get a generator. But at the same time, be grateful that it's not. It could be worse. There is someone far worse than us. In fact, if you're tuning in today, you're better off than the overwhelming majority of people on the planet today. And be grateful for that, even during downtime. So if you ever wonder why I often, I will link the article. I'll pin it up top. If you ever wonder why I tend to be a perma bull, it's not just that I'm bullish on market and things here. It's just how I operate. I've removed or do my best to remove negative people from my life. So you're an average of the people you spend the most time with, the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I don't want to be surrounded by people who just are constant critics and find the negative in the world. And again, that's our quote open for today. I pinned Steve's quote tweet up top. The article, the original post, is linked to that. And I got Marquez coming up here. We will give the GOAT a quick hit or a quick comment if you want to get on this. the Power of Positivity cold open for a minute, and then I am past cold open time, so you got to get moving. Otherwise, I get docked pay from my producer Payne. So Marquez, always a pleasure. Long time no talk. GM sir, welcome to the stage. Feel free to add anything you'd like to the conversation.
GM, long time no talk. It's great being up here, getting to kick it with you and catch up. I came in at the right time, man. You're talking about some great stuff, the power of positivity and also the power of your mindset. There's another book that, if you haven't tapped into, it's called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And it's by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Phenomenal book. But they go in and describe and they talk about different things. Like there's a whole study out there where a surgeon didn't use any anesthesia. He just used hypnosis in the own patient's subconscious to essentially do the entire surgery. And they actually had a better surgery result and better recovery rate. So your mind is an extremely powerful thing. And as someone who spent a lot of time in the military, I spent 11 years in the Army, I know about mind conditioning because it allows you to be able to perform in high stress situations. But also, there's a caveat to that, right? Because then you condition yourself to operate in a state of chaos, right? But what you need to be operating in is a state of clarity, um, like like you were saying earlier, like the positive mind frame truly does, because we are constantly creating our own reality. So, you know, if you think negative thoughts, negative things will happen. Just like the whole concept of, oh, I just bought this car. Now you see that car everywhere. It's the same thing. It's the power of your mind. So you hit some real heavy stuff and some real powerful stuff there this morning. And so, just wanted to give you a cosign. And then, I just need to catch up, man. It's been a while.
Great to hear from you. Appreciate you jumping up and adding to the combo. Appreciate your service. Also, Chris in the chat, thanking you for your service as well. Greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'm not smart enough to be able to explain all this stuff. Why I bought in and started believing in the power of the subconscious mind and thoughts are things and your attitude is your aptitude, all that you feel the cheesy tagline you want, is because at a young age, I saw some very, very successful self-made individuals. And I wanted the life they lived. My parents were awesome. They instilled great morals and core values, humble Midwestern upbringing, but they had not achieved, financial independence or financial freedom. They had not, accumulated millions of dollars in net worth. And the first time I was around people like that, it wasn't like, oh, this is what you should do to make money for yourself. This is what you should do to create wealth. Rather, this is how you do it. And the majority of the stuff was success principles like this. And at first I challenged it. At first I thought it was a little cheesy. Even stuff as far as goal setting, and I don't have time to get into a goal setting take this morning, but yeah, I got to save that story for another day because I don't have time. But it was, I just bought in because it was people that had things, they were living a life that I wanted to live, and they said, do this. And I was just young and naive enough to say, okay, I'm in. And I just did it. And my life has been up only ever. Well, not up only, but if I zoom out, it's been up only for the most part ever since. And I'll be forever grateful these people came into my life at a young age. Now there's actually science and reports and things that support all this. That back then they said, well, the reason these success principles have held the test of time because they do work. And you go talk to a lot of successful individuals, they would attribute a lot of the same stuff. And I got lucky. I just ran pure as a college kid that I was introduced to some of this way of thinking by some people who had tremendous success, and I just copied what they did. That was it. I didn't understand it at the at the neuroplasticity level or anything like that. But now there is a lot of research and studies that has confirmed this stuff, that it's not some cosmic BS. Rather, it actually is real and works. And anyways, appreciate you sharing, appreciate adding to it. Miss A, I saw you flew up. If you got 30, 60 seconds on this, feel free to get in here, and then we got to get moving on to crypto.
Oh, thanks, Cap. I could actually just add maybe 2 sentences. You're 100% right. Neuroplasticity is a thing. As someone that's been teaching meditation and yoga for decades, Dr. Joe Dispenza, breaking the habit of being yourself. If you could make yourself sick, you can make yourself well. And I've been a student of his for almost 20 years. And your brain is neuroplastic. neurons that wire together, fire together. And that's what Steve's talking about. When you commiserate and you complain, you rewire your brain for negativity. So that's why you need to shut down all of that, because you're just contributing to deteriorating your brain. So sometimes when you think people are being rude by ignoring things, they're actually not. They're just being mindful of what they put into the brain programming. And I'll land it on this. Emotion without reaction is wisdom, and recognize that your brain is a neuroplastic organ that functions, and it's 73% fat, so it does need fat. And I think these are things that people don't understand. And this is a great topic. So, but I'll leave it there because I could talk about this ad nauseum. And it does have an indicator on someone's mental health, because we're wired in a high beta state in our world with the mental health crisis that it is. We need to bring our brain down from a high beta state, which is irrational, down to a state that actually can make decisions, choices from a place of comedy and rationality, as opposed to emotionally charged. And you know what I'm saying? And I think that could go miles. And I think it's a great topic.
Absolutely. Maybe one day we will do we'll go deeper on this topic. I see Bob in the chat says GM. My favorite, I enjoy speaking. I enjoy commentating. I enjoy educating others. One of my favorite things building a national franchise brand was doing new franchisee trainings. And while there was a lot of how-tos and technical stuff, and this is how you run your business, this is what a P&L looks like, this is, how you should manage your financial statements, this is, sort of payroll you should have and rent, et cetera, by far my favorite segment was the closing segment. And it was something that, I don't know, maybe other franchises do this, but mine was, we talk about this, we talk about success principles, we talk about goal setting. And I vividly remember, I don't remember what year it was that Bob came through one of those new franchisees trainings, but vividly remember that class. It was an incredible class of new franchisees. A lot of them were independent repair shop owners that had converted to, sorry if I'm doxing you, this isn't public, my apologies, Bob, I should have asked. It was, I don't know, I have a feeling that might be indirectly one of the reasons that Bob is here today, because we connected on a level that was far deeper, far more important than how to operate a repair franchise. And it's why I continue to share this sort of stuff, is the business that I was in, the thing I was doing when I was turned on to this stuff is entirely irrelevant to my life today, as far as the actual product, the service, the business itself. But what I've carried through in everything I've done in my life was the success principles that were shared with me. And they didn't have to be. Like the people, my mentors, again, they didn't have to, but they knew if I was going to achieve my full potential in building that business, that this stuff was, we're building blocks. These were foundational principles. And so I've attempted to pay that forward, whether it was running my wireless store and I was on a manager training or a sales rep training, or a franchisee training. It was always not only my favorite part, it was almost always we would do like a survey afterwards, an NPS survey. And it was almost always the favorite part of the week that people would comment on. They'd give it 10 out of 10 on the NPS and verbatims on how much they took out of it. And so I not that it's why you tune in today, but just felt like it actually my cold open notes had, I don't know how I got on that. I did have winter storms in there, but it was actually, I was going to talk about Tesla full self-driving, how incredible it is in the winter. Lemonade just announced 50% off insurance rates for those that have full self-driving. And I just blew past all that, and my brain took me here. I can't explain why, but sometimes things are in control and I'm not. But he did go on to say, all good. Yes, we connected on a lot of mindset stuff, ultimately accountability, stoicism, and all that good stuff. Appreciate you, Bob. Thanks for being here. One more quick one, Miss A, and then I do got to get moving.
Indeed, there's something, I think we might be from the same petri dish, because back in the day when I did work in corporate, I was in the fashion industry and we did leadership trainings in San Francisco, and it was a company called Catapult. And they actually did this type of training for executives and managers in Northern California back in the 90s. And that's something that's very interesting, because what you're describing is exactly what everyone loved. And that is what's missing in our work society today, is that no one's actually developing the human being in the HR human capital perspective. And now people have gone to like Tony Robbins or Brendan Burchard or Mel Robbins, and they've actually gone outside to take EST, was what I did back when I was a teenager. I did EST. And then I've been following Tony since since he was a car salesman overnight. Tony Robbins started out as car salesman, and then now he's the world's leading motivational, inspirational coach. And I still crew for him. So I think that's a mindset shift that is not displacing responsibility on other people, but taking agency over yourself and the life that you want to lead, and aligning yourself with those individuals and those professionals that will uplift you. And Tony really describes this a lot, that your network and your inner circle could either make or break you. So really, you have to be very discerning on also where you spend your time and what you listen to, what you put into programming in the brain, what you watch, what you read. And I think that this is such a really interesting topic, and it's so relevant to our society today, because the brain is getting rotten. The better word to use is just rotten, because the gray matter of the neocortex in the front side of the brain is getting deteriorated by screen scrolling and dopamine hits. And they've said this already. It's already happening. So at some point, you've got to get off the devices and start actually really literally reprogramming your brain so that it actually knows how to function as a human organism. Because what's happening is the brain is lulling in repetition, and that's not a good thing, because as human intelligence is more vital than artificial intelligence, we still need to uplift the brain and program ourselves to do what we want to excel in life. And that's something that was very Northern California back in the 80s and 90s, with EST, with Bernard Eckert, with Landmark Professional Worldwide, with Tony's courses. Like, you just hit such a sweet, loving memory that I just have to thank you for.
Yep. No, appreciate you sharing again. And, you mentioned AI. I do think while I'm not the biggest fan of where it's always like glazing you and I don't even know the proper word for it, but there's also a net positive there. I think the benefit of that is, I think it goes a little too far and it isn't critical often enough unless you ask it to be, is that there's some people who have never heard this stuff. They don't have this sort of this positive stuff coming in their brain, or they've never been turned on to this way of thinking. And indirectly, I think some of these chatbots are doing that. Shout out to Hands W over in the abstract chat. Greatly appreciate that Pingu tip. Very generous of you. Diablito also added this, asked about if I saw Adam Weitzman's interview clip with the guy that interviews billionaires on social media. I did. I actually pinned that up top if anyone missed it. He says he seems like to have that positive mindset. I'd like to hear more story. Agreed. When we get Adam and Gabe on here to talk about heavy metals, while that is also important, and the questions I would like to ask there, what I'd really like to talk about is what success, more of that conversation, go deeper on that. And I think you'll be amazed at how many common denominators there are, such as this, amongst the uber successful. I apologize, Payne. It's not even supposed to be 15 minutes. It's supposed to be 5 minutes now, but we do get the 4 minute of the song intro. So it's more like we should be done by 10 after. Not a slow news day. It just, I feel people wanted to talk about it, and I'm not gonna cut people off that want to come on stage to enter a conversation to something that has impacted obviously many of us on this stage. And hopefully it probably is far more important, especially for people that have never heard this before, far more important than any of the news we're going to talk about today. But we do have a full news day, and we're going to jump right into that. Shout out to Machiavelli and Bandit, who jumped up on stage as well. Machiavelli, since you jumped up, I've got several news items today. The quick overview is, if you missed it, Farcaster got sold and is essentially dead. They raised at $1 billion valuation, raised like $190 million, and just got acquired by one of their service providers who had raised like $12 million. So that probably tells you all you need to know on that. There is another ICO space that apparently appears to be following the Trove path. I'm not saying they're going to rug, but it doesn't look great thus far. Certainly do your own research and proceed there with caution if you're looking at space. I also was dunking on GUI in the Gas Foundation. I still hold my thoughts there. but is absolutely ripped. Shocking to me to see the market cap, but then it's not really because everyone who claimed can't sell for 30 days. So it is a artificial honeypot. No one can sell. I mean, no one that claimed free tokens can sell until 30 days from now. The only sellers are those that are buying the token OTC. Solana Seeker, the phone and that token associated with it, it was an absolute print. The Ralph token, the Ralph Dev, after saying he wasn't going to sell, sold and absolutely nuked that token. This is not to be confused with what Meta Alchemist is building. And then the other two topics, I have a few jailed.fun invites. Think of it as a mini game. There's likely going to be a token. It's not something I expect to sustain forever. But this team has built a few other addicted.fun and a few others that, calling it what it is. I don't want to say it's a Ponzi. There's a game, but like most of these crypto games that are mini games, like a Big or anything that's.
Did they do the weed game, Cap?
I think they did. Yeah, I think they did weed. I think they did addicted.fun, and so they know how to drive some attention, drive some mind share, and they've built some fun mini games. It's not going to last forever. It's not going to change the world. It's not. Please don't put any money in Kill for Lose. Expect the thing to go to zero. But it is one of these things. Like if you can get an invite and get some free tokens, you might be able to make a few bucks. Maybe it's.
I want to invite, man. I need. Listen. I think it's going to be a cook at least for a short period of time, Cap.
It is going to be short. I don't expect it to be long lived. If it is, I'll be wrong, and I'll be selling early. But there's often times where you can participate, click some buttons, get some free tokens, get some free exposure, and if it does pump, you can turn free tokens into dollars. Real value. Just again, with all these, you have to proceed with caution. You don't want to be buying the launch. Certainly not with any money that you can't afford to see go to zero, because it likely doesn't sustain. Might it? Sure. It would be the exception, not the norm, if it does sustain and it's something we're still talking about a year from now. But they've got a little bit of motion on the timeline. It's a team that I think they built like 10 different mini games on Base before they moved to Solana. And so, yeah, Machiavelli, I got, I think 3 or 4 of those left. I got one for you, and we'll give the rest of them away here on the chat. If you're interested in GL.fun, invite, let me know in the chat. And if we have more than I have, we'll do something to pick them. But I've given one away. Machiavelli, you got another one, and I will we'll give the remainder away here on the show for anyone else that's, well, not anyone, but if there's more than 3, you'll have to choose somehow. But let me know in the chat, any of the chats, if that's something you're interested in, and I will remind me before the end of the show, and I'll give those away. The other pieces of news, I for a while, I was on it early, then I started fading it, and now on my daily task, I'm back on the ethos train. I think Serpent is an impressive dev. I think how they're working, and I think he's doing some good things. I think he's very responsive. They're making changes quickly, and I think it's hard to debate. They've built a first-in-class product. I don't think there's another on-chain reputation tool that even rivals Ethos. I don't even know if there's been another attempt. And I think that says a lot in a space that so often you see copy pastas, so often you see forks, and in Vampire Tech. Shout out Remy. Remy has 4 invite codes in the chat as well. If someone wants to go grab those, go get Remy's codes, and then I'll make sure I give the remainder I have away as well. Appreciate you, Remy. I think Ethos has saving power, and we're not going to go back and relitigate the last 2 days' conversations, but it did what it's supposed to do. And it's not debatable that not disclosing paid promotions it's not good. It's bad. It's wrong. It's at best, it's borderline. It's a gray area. It's unethical, immoral, whatever you want to do it. In the US, it's illegal. In many other countries, it's illegal. And again, not going to relitigate the whole conversation, but it was one that I like Whale, and this isn't a Whale thing, but it was just the one that was talked about. It was, it wasn't like he was canceled. It wasn't like he goes to zero. It was the thing was going to result in 11% ding. And I felt that was fair. It was the first time I've ever slashed anyone on Ethos. But this was one, if I didn't, because I betted Whale previously, I was going to get dinged. I'm like, well, had I not been facing a personal reputation ding as a result of this, I probably wouldn't have done anything. It's not that deep for me. I don't want to see Whale, I don't want to see him canceled over this. I want to see him start disclosing everything he gets paid to promote. And I think he will. I would assume he will now. I think Ethos worked exactly as intended. And I think this recent case makes me very bullish Ethos long term. I don't know how they're going to incorporate a token, but they actually have built quite a bit on that platform. If you haven't checked it out in a while. And yeah, that's my other topic that we may go deeper on today if we have time, just on Ethos at a high level. Probably not, because there's enough other things to talk about. And we went about 30 minutes on a cold open. Again, my apologies, Payne. But I replied to Carlito, who I also am a big fan of and alike, and he was a little salty, a little upset because he got he took a hit. He got dinged 20 reputation points on Ethos, and I responded to Carlito. I said, because he said he couldn't, I'm going to quote him. It says, Wally got slashed because of that, negative 20 points for everybody that vouched or positively reviewed him on Ethos. How can I be blamed, though, 6 months after reviewing Wally, that he did not disclose an ad? Ethos Tech is total BS. To which I replied, you could have slashed him and avoided the ding. Ethos working exactly as intended, in my humble opinion. You can like the person, and the person can make a mistake / do something illegal. Disclosures are important. He admitted the mistake, and this sort of activity should not be defended. A mistake worthy of 11% ding to his rep. Again, in my opinion. And then it followed up. My suggestion to Ethos was like, okay, maybe have a notification, because not everyone's checking Ethos every day. So maybe a way to notify someone if you're involved in, if someone's getting slashed and your rep might take a ding at it, at least notify them somehow so they can see this is happening and be aware that they're going to get a notification, or they're going to get a ding if they don't, if this person eventually gets slashed. If they don't get slashed, then nothing happens. But if they get slashed and you vouch for them, you're taking a hit. Maybe it's, and instead of like negative 20, maybe if you vouch for the person, or you defend the person that's getting slashed and they ultimately get slashed, maybe that stays at negative 20. Maybe if you take no action, it's like negative 10 or negative 5. But I think there's some small adjustments or tweaks they can make there to make it maybe a little more fair and equitable. But the TLDR is this recent issue regarding Trove and disclosures and how things transpired on Ethos. It made me very bullish on the platform. And I don't know. It's something I haven't really thought much about. I haven't been doing the daily tasks. Last few days I have, and I'm going to continue that and see where it goes. I like Serpent. I think he's a good builder. And just as we talked about, well, I don't want to spend the next 90 minutes relitigating the Trove conversation or disclosures. I'd rather focus on highlight positive builders and positive things. And have a positive mental attitude. This is a positive. Ethos is a good thing. I think it is a net positive for the space, and I think there's a world, fast forward, where it's incorporated more and more and more in not only like ICO eligibility or allocations, but I could see a lot of other protocols leveraging the Ethos APIs to incorporate different things. So long story short, maybe we get more into Ethos conversation later. Probably punt that until we get Serpent on the show here for a deeper dive. But the last topic of on the headlines today, other than many market related stuff, is perfect timing. Frosty's hits me up with a very generous tip over in Abstract as well. Thank you, sir. So to go from Frosty's to Machiavelli, right into Otherside, big launch with Amazon today, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But more so, or as equally as important as the big launch with Amazon, is I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to what Otherside is building, where it might fit in the market, and potentially how important it could be for crypto at large. I'm going to quote someone here. They say, every on-chain narrative is dead tired and reached price discovery years ago. Why is nobody running back metaverse / GameFi with AI tools we have now? Who's working on this? There's also several bullet points, which I'm going to pull up. I just pinned a post up top. I'm going to pull it up here on screen in a second. and then we'll talk about the actual drop today. But if you missed it, I actually did miss the show, but I saw the maybe some clips, and then I did see this post from TG, who says this. He was talking about Roblox and the millions of dollars that devs are making on Roblox. He had a show on Roblox, is my understanding. Maybe even talk to some of the devs that are building over there, and says this is the bullet points for those tuning in via podcast later or audio only today. He says, browser-based metaverse, non-custodial wallet. Assets are NFTs, but nobody knows. AI code-powered game designer. Anyone can launch a game. Novel token standard. Designed for in-game economies. Compete with Roblox on extreme token volatility and ease to deploy. Remove 80% of the fees. Add system for devs to crowdfund capital. ICO. Let big players throw money behind talent. Make people more rich than Roblox. And then that's where he ended with every on-chain narrative is dead, tired, and reached price discovery years ago. Why is nobody running back? Metaverse GameFi with the AI tools we have now. Who's working on this? To which I replied, literally described what Otherside is building almost to a T. They have a lot of this already. And oh, by the way, have a drop with Amazon tomorrow. So we've been saying it for a while. And I'm not saying like, oh, dude, because Thread Guy said someone needs to build this. This is the next big thing in crypto. The thesis is playing out. Like, this is what Otherside has been building since the drop, for 4 years. Now, do they have some stop and starts, and did they have some pivots and then pivoted back and broke up with improbable and then got back with improbable and then bought the improbable tech? Yes, it's been a long journey. But when they had the other deeds mint, it was never going to be, oh, we're going to launch an open world metaverse next month. This is years in the making. This is a Herculean effort. This is not some low effort copy pasta. We're not going to just fork Roblox and incorporate all this stuff in a couple of months. This is really novel stuff. This is really, I think, pretty difficult to do from a technical level. And have they made mistakes along the way? Sure. They haven't stopped building. Gara came back. This is his passion project. And it's pretty darn impressive where they're at already. Have they captured the wider attention of the space? Apparently not. Thread Guy, who had his come up from that ecosystem, if you're new here, he rocked a Mutant Ape for the longest time. He was an MC at Fuck It Saturday and other events. He hosted multiple spaces for the apes, and then I don't know this for a fact. I believe it was he ran for a special counsel on the DAO, didn't get it, and then kind of came disgruntled, and he started working with some individuals who were very bearish Yuga, and I'm not saying the negativity got in his head, but I think the negativity got in his head, and he's just moved on. He's done other things, and he's done just fine for himself. I'm sure he's not regretting any of his decisions along the way. I'm not going to go on to the Jack Butcher PFP and the money he was able to make off that, and the streaming career he's built for himself. He's done just fine. But my bigger point is he's someone who pays attention to this space, pretty connected, just described Otherside. And I don't know if he just forgot. I don't know if he doesn't he's probably not, I'm guessing he's not.
He knows, Cap. Come on, Cap. Like, somebody that in tune with the space knows everything that's going on. He knows. I mean, this is my honest truth. I do not think he's been in Otherside once, would be my guess. I doubt he's experienced it. He was he went from pro Yuga to anti Yuga, and he's fine doing that. Like, I don't know all that happened behind the scenes. This isn't a Thread Guy conversation. I really don't think he has any clue what they've actually done. I doubt he had a. Does he know about Otherside? Yes. Does he realize that all those things he bullet pointed is they've shipped a lot of them already? I doubt it. I would bet money that he's not been in there once. I think that's a pretty good bet. I bet he's. I would agree 100%. He did become a playable character last night with Ramen Noodle Hair. Shout out to DC, directive creator. So you can play as Thread Guy now in the Otherside.
Amazing. And part of the power of Otherside is exactly that, is the ability to spin up new characters, new avatars. It's the thesis holds. By the way, an effort of full disclosure, I hold like 6 or 7 other deeds. I have a coda. It's the most expensive NFT I've ever bought. I'm down bad on it from a financial standpoint. I didn't buy it for a short-term flip. Am I ever going to see a return on that? Probably not. I've already written it off to zero. I'm just not selling it. I'm here to support the journey. I think I have maybe sold one deed, and I sold a coda. Actually, now I think about it, I think I have half a coda still with Drukrit. Drukrit, if you're listening, do we still have that coda? We split a coda many years ago, and I completely forgot about it until just now. So if you did sell that, how much? What's my split? I could use some dry powder. But I do hold a rare coda with a weapon and several deeds. I'm not. It's not something I'm looking to flip short term. It was just like when I decided not to sell my PFP and decided it was going to be at least a 10-year journey for me with that asset. Same thing with Otherside. Like I knew it. Like I didn't know what apes were going to become. I would be lying if I said I knew that Otherside was a multi-year build. I knew it was probably many years until we really saw anything worthwhile as far as like a persistent state world. And reality, and then it's going to be years after that until it actually catches mainstream. If you would have told me when Deeds minted that in the year 2025 they'd form a partnership with Amazon Gaming and they'd be doing a drop with Amazon Gaming in January of 2026, man, that the floor probably would have ran about double what it its all-time high. Like they've done incredible things, but I think because it wasn't just Thread Guy, the space at large went from don't fade Yuga can't miss, to don't touch Yuga. It's not working anymore. And it went from the space, again, I know I'm generalizing here, but went from extremely bullish anything Yuga touch to extremely bearish anything Yuga was touching. And I think as a result of that, a lot of people put blinders on and not paid attention to what Otherside actually has shipped, where they're at, and what they're building is, again, almost to a T what he just described. And I wish that things had been done differently with the DAO treasury, and I wish they had more capital to go recruit some of this talent away from Roblox. The reality is it's going to be hard to pull those people out of Roblox today because they're making tens of millions of dollars. Like to go hire the top talent or get the top talent to leave Roblox and come into Otherside is going to be a big task. Why would you leave something if you're making 10, 20 grand, $20 million a month? Even if you're making 100 grand a month, why would you leave and go do something else?
We don't need the top talent, Cap. We really don't. Like they can stay over there. I think that there's so many indie game devs and stuff. I think the best is yet to be discovered. And then we're not playing the same game because we're not using the same type of platform. And while Roblox does have its stickiness and it has its decade plus in the game and it's all of these things, like the future beholds through Unreal and stuff like that. It's just a different type, and to me, it's going to be a better gaming experience, and it's going to be like the graduate level of what Roblox is now is what the Otherside is going to be in the future. And I think that we have to walk the walk still. You know what I mean? Like they've talked the talk, they've done all these things, and now it's about deliverables and execution. And I think over the next 12 to 18 months, you're going to see a lot of that happen in real time, and we're going to see some stickiness, and we just have to let the timeline play out. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the time is on our side when it comes to this, because like you said, these things do take time. Nothing happens overnight in this market.
Dwayne asks, is it even possible that TG did not know the post described exactly Otherside? I think so. I really I think it's very possible he didn't know, because I think he is just, when he made his moves that he did, I think he's just fully fading Yuga and is not paying attention to anything they're doing. I don't blame him. There's a lot to pay attention in this space. And the route he went was very different than what Yuga is building now that memes and that stuff is kind of, I would say, ran its course. They're not going anywhere. There'll always be a thing. But the mania is done. The fact that it being a real wave is over. That quote unquote bubble burst. There's still opportunities. There's still going to be runners. There's still going to be meme coins. But as far as it, I just saw a video recently about all the peanuts and the chill guys and all those tokens that ran to multiple billions of dollars. It was crazy to look back in hindsight now. They're not anywhere close to that. I don't know if we ever get back in that mode again, to the insane valuations we saw. Partially because it's far easier to launch a token now. There's Pump Fund changed the game. It is a quantity over quality game, and you've got a lot more PvP. I'm not a trencher to know with great detail. I don't think we ever get back to that. And I think, our guy's probably smart enough to realize that what's next and what he described, it very well could be. I'm not saying it's going to be, but it very well could be the next big mania in crypto on chain. Because is it hard? Yes. Did most of the Web3 gaming, the on-chain gaming, did it fail because their tokenomics sucked and it wasn't sustainable? Yes. The thesis, conceptually, still makes sense. It's still better for all the reasons he just described. And I saw some other people talking the same topic, how extractive that Roblox is, because they're like Apple App Store in terms of like it's a 30% fee. And there's a lot of challenges for especially the up and coming creator. You mentioned like the indie dev. Like if you don't, it's like, it's the haves and have nots is my understanding. I'm not a Roblox dev, but there is, some that make it really big and the others kind of grind for, picking up scraps and peanuts. And hard to do that when I don't even think you can withdraw less than $1,000 is like the minimum withdrawal. I think there's a lot of hurdles there in addition to the fees that can just be better in an on-chain decentralized world. So I remain long-term bullish Otherside. I'm not saying please don't go run out and buy a Coda or another deed. I'd encourage you to get out of here. Sorry for the distraction. I'm going to go to Joey next, and then we'll get Oxy in here. FFV was talking about basketball.fun. He's doing some advising for, I believe. And he used the word in it. Been working with the team over basketball.fun, and this place is a narrative trading heaven. Some people I'm big into narratives when it comes to sports betting and fantasy. Apologies for the digression. Joey's going to get us right back on track, and then Oxy will as well. I have to get this out because this world that we live in is so small, from crypto to poker to DFS. There's so many of us. Our paths have crossed. Many times we didn't even know it. And when FFE said that, my brain went back to when I was grinding at one point in my life. This is probably I think 2015, 2016. I could be wrong on the years. I would need to go back. It was actually probably earlier than that. I need to go back and check. I was grinding high stakes, like nosebleed stakes, NBA DFS every day. You couldn't take a day off if you were grinding at those stakes. You had to lock in. If tip was 6:30, you had to be in front of your computer from 5 to 6:30 every day. Be prepared for last minute lineup changes and last minute injury and news breaking. And narratives matter. I think in basketball more so than any sport. Someone's birthday, it's someone's, it's a revenge game. More so than any other sport, I felt narratives really matter in NBA. In fact, now that I'm saying this, I may start playing around in some player props with NBA just because, and I say that now, narratives are probably baked into the lines. Some people think it's all just doesn't matter. I always felt it did. So anyways, long story short, I said true story. Back when I was grinding high stakes NBA DFS, I ran a daily blog site called NBA Narratives. And FFE says, holy shit, that was you. I was into sports at the time. I wasn't into sports at the time, but that was one of my buddies was into your blog. Insane world, man. It is an insane small world, and you never know when your paths may cross. So anyways, sorry for that aggression. If you're mad at me, blame FFE. That comment threw me off. But Joey, bring us back to Otherside. Take it whichever direction you would like on that specific topic. No mention of NBA narratives, though.
GM guys, I'm changing the little one's diaper, so I apologize if she makes some noise. So I'm not as bullish on this whole metaverse future thing. I think when you've got very large companies around the world laying off substantial quantities of employees that are specifically working on those type of projects, maybe in the future, 5-10 years, I just don't think we're close enough to where this metaverse concept is happening. Meta I think is going through their second round of layoffs from the team / division behind
1,500 people gone. 1,500 people gone.
Yeah, and I think they're laying off another 400. I think is what I read too, or something like that. So and Disney went through this. Disney went through this. What was it, last year or the year before, where they basically scrapped that whole division. And again, I'm not saying that they are the end all be all, but when the biggest, most flush with money companies are pivoting away, it should tell us something. My only other concern with Otherside is what is the marketing play here, right? Like, what is the way? How are they going to? Right now, they're yes, they got Web3 supporters, a couple hundred, couple thousand, whatever it is, supporting them because of the Web3 space. When you start to try to penetrate the Web2 market, whether that's through Meta ads, whether that's through YouTube ads, I don't know what their plan's going to be. It's going to get very expensive. Their CAC is going to get very, very expensive. And and again, yes, it's early and we don't know what the revenue model is going to look like and where the money's going to come from. And, and a lot of people keep saying, oh, the builders are going to come, the devs are going to come, don't worry. Like, I just don't think people realize how much it's going to cost them to go out and try to vampire attack, poach, market to get people to come to this platform. And I don't see how they're going to do that. I don't see how Yuga has successfully, outside of that one run with Dookie Dash where they gave away whatever it was, that key for several $1 million, how they're going to get people to come over here without offering $1 million reward.
Oh, I agree. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. And the odds are stacked against them. I actually think, though, that Meta and Disney and the others leaving or drastically reducing their efforts and their investments in this space, I think it actually benefits Otherside. You've got now you only have the incumbents. You have Roblox you need to go get. I mean, Otherside's better than what Meta's built already today. And I can say that with confidence. From everything I've seen, like, Otherside has done laps around what Meta has, despite them having far more resources poured into it. I think they've got other big, like, sometimes it's much easier for a startup to build and capture market share in an established vertical or industry than it is a large multi-billion-dollar organization that is building something. Even if they're pouring billions of dollars into it, it's still a side business. It's still a project, and it's easy to walk away from that. I agree. It's very hard. How are they going to make money? What's the revenue model? There's still a lot of things that need to happen for this to actually play out. I agree with you. But my point is, it is in the range of outcomes. They're building towards it. There's people who are not fans of Yuga that are describing, hey, who's building this on chain? Like, this is something for everything else that people have tried to enhance and make better by bringing it on chain, from RWAs, tokenized stocks, to digital collectibles. This makes sense. It makes it better. It's better than Roblox. Now, is there a lot of challenges to take on a giant like that who has such a tremendous lead? Yeah. If it was easy, we'd have 100 versions of Otherside. It's very expensive. It's very hard. Sometimes the things that are hard are the ones that are really worth doing, and the ones that really win big. That's why I said, for me, this isn't like a short-term flip. This is like, it's a decade-long play. Because even if they nail everything in 2026, realistically, it's probably at least another 5 years before they have any sort of like real traction in terms of millions of daily active users outside of this space. How do they get there financially? I don't know. It's probably going to be they start getting some real traction and they're going to need another round of funding, I would guess. I don't know how they're going to get there. I also can accept that it's probably, if you're putting a percentage odds on it, it's less than 50% chance they make it. But I'm rooting for it, not just because I have my bags. I'd love to see it. I'm rooting for all crypto native brands that are taking on giants in the Web 2 world that have borderline extractive fee shares. Like, there's for so many reasons, it would be good to have a real competitor to the Roblox of the world. Is it likely to happen? No. I agree with everything you said. I don't know how they make it work from a financial standpoint. It's very expensive to run Otherside in a persistent state. They're not really generating revenue today for all intents, not anywhere near to pay the bills, is my understanding. I've not seen the books. I have an idea. I've talked to people about how expensive it is to have this thing live, and like there's a drop today on Amazon. It's exciting. I like could have massive success. It's probably going to be like a drop in the bucket in terms of covering, even a day of expenses, let alone weeks or months or years. And I don't think they get there by selling avatars by way of a partnership. It's going to be much more than that. It's going to take a lot of time, but I respect that they're still going after it. And it is kind of wild to me that it's not like Roblox just happened. Like people have been doing this for years, but for whatever reason, it's now getting more and more in the microscope in our world in CT that holy cow, there's people printing. First it was Wob and Sappy Seals, because again, they're building an open world as well. Talking about the people making the money that's flowing in, the capital flowing in and out of Roblox. We talk about on-chain capital markets, internet capital markets. This is such an obvious one. It's obvious in the sense that the market exists for this. It's not obvious how a startup captures material market share from someone like Roblox. I'm going to go to Oxy. And
real quick on the Roblox thing, because you mentioned like how they charge so much. The reason, in my opinion, and I could be wrong here, but the reason why they charge so much, or why the percentage that you actually get to keep is so low, is because you as the individual don't have to do anything. You don't have to spend marketing dollars to acquire customers. You don't have to run ads. Like you literally can just start creating in Roblox and you'll start to make money because your stuff will be accessible. Yes, does it help to have an Instagram and a YouTube to promote yourself and all those things? But because their audience is so massive, it's to be honest, it's kind of the same thesis on why we're on Base and the Base app, right? Like the Base app is a captive audience of individuals that we can go after at Beezy without having to spend extra money on marketing. So and it's a little different because Base isn't, doesn't take percentages of fees and whatever, right? But that's kind of why are people always go for the Apple Store first versus the Google Play Store, right? Because the Apple Store, the amount of users and revenue generated in the Apple Store is so high, Apple can charge that because you don't have to spend marketing dollars because of the captive audience. And so do I think that Roblox probably charges a lot of money? Yeah. But I mean, it's how many hundreds of millions of users am I getting to tap into for just creating stuff?
I agree. I understand all that. Otherside's not ready for mass marketing yet. They're not doing any marketing because it's still in beta. They're not there yet. They've been building towards it. They've come a long way. It's still not ready for mass adoption. It's still not ready for mass users. You don't even have access to deeds yet. Like it's to build on your own deeds. Like they're building towards it. It's going to take still years to get to that point. I fully understand why people would pay Roblox the fee, but the vision, this thing plays out, and maybe there's not, I don't know how many millions of daily active users are in Roblox today, but forget matching the number of Roblox daily active users. If they get to 1/10 of that, Roblox generated $3.6 billion in 2024. We don't have 25 numbers yet, but estimated to be about 4.4 billion. If they can do 1/10 of that and generate 440 million a year, there's money there to attract. Maybe it's not the biggest devs. Maybe it's not going to be the devs that are making $10 to $20 million a month. It doesn't have to be. Because of how it's built, it's going to create an opportunity for I'm going to guess the majority of devs on Roblox are not making 10 to 20 million a month. Pretty confident in saying that. And there's probably some who, they make $500 a month. They can only cash out every other month. And then Roblox takes a 30% cut and they're probably frustrated. They'd probably rather be a big fish in a small pond than a very, very small minnow in an ocean. Maybe not, but I think there is, to me, logically and rationally, this thing can play out. And it's such a massive thing. There's so much capital flowing into Roblox that with most things that capture this sort of market, there's usually competitors. And I know there's other off-chain competitors as well. I couldn't name any of them, but I believe there's other off-chain competitors, but they've failed to do it. Meta failed to do it. Maybe it doesn't happen. But I think because of the core community that is the crypto natives, I think Otherside has a competitive advantage against other startups, not against Roblox today. I think they have real competitive advantage over other startups attempting to go compete with Roblox. And if there's not other people out there competing with Roblox, say, why not? Especially in today's world, because AI unlocks so much more capabilities for, if I wanted to be a Roblox dev, I could probably spend the next week and I'm gonna go build a game in Roblox. And if I can't do that, I should probably hang up my tech shoes. Like I just from Opus and all the AI tools today, like it's easier than ever before, anytime in history, to build a game in a platform like Roblox. It's going to be the same in Otherside. I think Otherside again has a competitive advantage because they were able to build from the ground level in an era where this stuff exists. They've been incorporating. I mean, Garga talked about using AI maybe a year ago in terms of what they're doing in Otherside.
June 26, 2025, he released the update on Otherside that it would be going persistent for tested bubbles in July. And he talked about all of the AI tools, and he put out a thread at that point in time. If you go to the highlight reel on the Otherside meta page, you'll see all of the update right there.
Awesome. No, not surprised that Mac knew the exact date of that post. Let's do this. I need to step away from the video for like 60 seconds. So I'd like to hand the mic to Jack. Jack, welcome to the stage. It's been a pleasure hearing your voice several days here this week. Take it whichever direction you'd like. Get in here. And then if Jack is done talking before I get back, we'll go. If Joey or Machiavelli could take back over, I'd appreciate it, but I shouldn't be too long. Jack, GM, sir. I'll be able to hear you. I just got to step away and refill the coffee. Jack, are you with me?
Oh, I was double muted. Sorry, I just come off of Spaces. Look, thank you so much, Cap. Yeah, go get your coffee. If anyone can monologue for 60 seconds, if anyone has tuned into this show over the years, they know that will be me. Look, I think I love the idea that Otherside and Yuga do this. I think the thing that I most consistently think about when I think of Yuga in any way as competition to Roblox, and I know for people in the industry, as in, the gaming industry, might feel that's, ridiculous. That's like a potentially a small franchise talking about Starbucks as a competition. I get that might in some sense be the way, although I'm not sure how many franchises raised, the amount of money Yuga did. It was like one of the fastest unicorns on planet Earth. Anyway, with all of that said, to appease the traditional gamers if they ever hear this, I think Roblox just doesn't have a shot, and a lot of Web 2 companies don't have a shot if they're still being directed by traditional gaming routes. I think the big thing for me about Web3, and it does require Yuga to go back a little bit to their roots, but I think they've already shown that is the direction they're moving in. But this idea of just giving a lot more generously to the gamers, the community who build through that game with them, I think when you think of tokenomics and you think of like open marketplaces, I think it's what brought a lot of us here. Like, the idea of why Metaverse went so big in 2021, 2022, at least in my opinion, why I was so excited about it was because I was looking at like a Ready Player One scenario. We'd all recently seen the movie. I'd say we read the book, but let's be clear, I read about one book a year on a good year. So we all saw the movie, and it just looked absolutely dope. And one of the dopest things about it was all the different skins, all the different IP coming together in this one single place with like ability to buy and sell them just broadly in this one spot. There's two versions of this. There's the Fortnite version. They're doing a pretty good job of bringing IP in, but it's a closed ecosystem. You can't get access to any of those skins after they time out. Like, there's no marketplace for them. And no matter how much you spend in Fortnite, once you leave Fortnite, that's it. Those assets disappear, and there's no way to resell them. So there's all of these like avenues where I think just fundamentally there's an appetite for it. There's a big appetite, even in gamers who seem to hate crypto for whatever reason, to be able to genuinely own your assets across games, digitally and be able to either sell them once you're fed up with a certain game or be able to collect more broadly and show them off in a digital way. I think the capacity to flex digitally is still really, really not. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like there's not enough product to meet the market demand. I think actually there's so many people who want to flex their digital assets and especially gaming. If you gave me a chance to get my gold cross from Call of Duty 4, which I promise you guys I've earned, but probably most of you who've played that game don't believe me, or my Halo skin when you had to drag that damn skull around on veteran mode or whatever it was called, on the hardest mode on the campaign with 4 other people to get this really rare skin, and then you would flex that within the game. But as soon as these 2 games disappeared, that was it. Those items were gone. I can't flex them now. I'm still talking about them over a decade later. It's Pokemon cards, but it's digital. It's, if you think of how long Pokemon cards took to become that admired, to have that level of nostalgia that met basically a Veblen good. Like this is the fundamental premise, but now kids don't really do collectibles in the same way. They do everything digitally. They spend most of their time digitally, as do most of us with remote work. So it's, to me, they have a really big opportunity. I think it will require some very difficult conversations at the VC level, is my only thing. I think it will take a really difficult conversation to try and bring the people who have invested in this business now basically up to speed and say, look, this is going to require a different business model than the games have ever done before. And it's going to look overly generous, but 1% of like trillions is better than 1% of million, or 10% of millions. Look, there's a bunch of different hands up now, so I was going to monologue until Cap came back, but I feel like you guys have got me. So
brother, he's been back for like 5 minutes, Jack. Come on now,
Jack.
Mark, I'll throw it over to you then.
Well, I was gonna let Joey respond only because that's the only other hand I see up. But before I go to Joey, Jack, what other hands do you see up? Because I don't see any but Joey.
So
is still on the front.
I think it was Mac first, and then I think it was either Joey or the GOAT. I'm not sure of that order because when I talk in monologue, I stop looking at the screen.
Yeah, it was Machiavelli, the GOAT, then me.
Okay, let's do it. Appreciate the gentleman nature here on the show this morning. Machiavelli. Also, I saw Rita out there. If you'd like to talk about Feels, welcome to come up. No obligations, not to put you on the spot, but would love to have you join us if you can. Truly no obligations. Go ahead, Machiavelli, and then
I think Jack's right on target with this about the digital flex and stuff like that. We saw it in the NFT market in 2021, and we're going to see it again as time goes on. Like right now, like I have a 6-year-old. Okay, he plays with all the neighbor kids, but guess what? They all play on Roblox together. They have their own group and stuff. So they're no longer playing outside. I mean, they do go ride bikes and stuff like that, but that's no longer their thing. And the biggest flex for all of them is like, who's being able to buy the new skin in the little 99 Nights in the Forest game or whatever it is that they're playing. You know what I mean? And the kid out of the group who has all the skins is the coolest kid, essentially. My kid is not the coolest kid, by the way, because we have a limit on the amount of Robux that we buy. Robux. I don't play Roblox. I play Robux. You know what I'm saying? That's what I get to play. I get to play Robux. So like there's this transition that's happening right now, I believe, in like from the youth into to people our age who started in Roblox, who are graduating. There is no graduating class right now. There is no place for them to go unless they're going to go build a real game in Unreal 3. I think that this is going to be that mark. And I'm watching that digital flex happen in real time in my household. You know what I'm saying? Because I have this little radar that's keeping me up to date with what the market and the trends are. But I don't know. I think that we see it evolve, and the digital flex is going to be very, very real. Go ahead, Joey.
Nope, the GOAT, you're up.
Appreciate you, man. Love you guys. Just gentlemen all around, gentlemen and scholars. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with Jack. I have a 15-year-old in the house, and so, been in the NFT world for a while. And if anybody remembers Nike Swoosh, okay, during Swoosh, they had a collab with Fortnite. Okay, you go through, you play the game, you get this crazy black bling, and the only way to have it was if you had a Swoosh account, the whole NFT process, the whole thing, right? So boom, I do this. I let my son have the back bling and stuff. He does the whole 9, right? Then his friends start asking him, yo, where did you get that? Where did you get that? He was like, I don't know. My dad owns some NFTs. So then birthday party rolls around. I've got his friends coming up to me asking, what's NFTs? What's crypto? How can we get cool stuff like that to flex in the game? So yes, the digital flex is there. And like, it's already happening, right? You've got, you had Off the Grid that has the NFTs with it was over on the Avalanche. I don't know where it is now, but
it's still cooking.
And then you
had
have
still cooking.
Oh, I know it is. Oh, I know that. I still play it. I'm not gonna hold you. I still play it. It's fun. I was able to bring in so like I always say, gaming is going to be a massive, as far as they say, tool to be used for onboarding, because just via like Off the Grid, I was able to bring in a lot of my homies. When I talked to them about like NFTs and crypto and stuff, it was falling on deaf ears. But then I was like, yo, this new game just dropped. It's cross-plat. Let's run it. So boom, it's they playing the shooters. And now I'm like, I start slowly working it in. And then they're like, oh, and then you see the light bulb click. Like, you have to make it relative and relevant for them to understand it. So there's so many different ways that this is going to be beneficial. In my personal opinion, right, in personal view, is because it makes it relevant and relative. So it's easier to explain and for people to grasp the concept of it, right? That's what you need, is the base concept to be understood. And then everything after that will be successful, right? And so and then, we always talk about effectiveness and efficiency and stuff like that. So like there's elements of these built in because of the already base use case. And then what Jack was talking about as far as collectibles, and what Mac was talking about in the Pokemon scene, right? Like, yes, we grew up, it's the super nostalgic. And yes, our kids are living way more online and on their devices. Like, my son is in a school and his focus is computer programming with app development. So he spends a lot of time on the computer, and just the same as his friends, but they definitely, they still outside, but they collect their things online, right? PlayStation did it for a while. Like that's going to be the big thing, right? Like, and in their eyes, what they're doing now is going to be their nostalgic. So, they're going to be able to save this data and go back and look at it and show their kids, and like how we're doing with the cars, right? But they're just doing it with digital assets. All right. And that's it for me.
No, great take. Appreciate you sharing. And I don't have kids at the Roblox age. Last time I was at a sporting event, right in front of me, kid playing on the iPad, playing Roblox the entire time. Like, it is very real. And that, what does that generation do when they fast forward 10 years, 20 years? Are they going to keep playing Roblox? I don't know, maybe. Or maybe they move into the adult version of Roblox. And I know that's not the tagline of Otherside, and that's not exactly what they're building. But to me, I can logically connect some dots on how this thing could connect. And again, years down the road, but to get there, they have to be laying the foundation today. Joey, go ahead, and then we'll keep moving around the horn.
Yeah. So two things. So I definitely believe in digital ownership for multiple reasons beyond just flexing. There's, that's basically what we do at BZ. But we're also not talking about the resurgence that like IRL physical is having. Like, there is and if you're not in that space, like it's hard to get that information. But card shops are having a major resurgence. Like, people walking into card shops and purchasing a booster box and sitting there and ripping that booster box and feeling the cardboard or the wax, whatever you want to call it, in their hand, and seeing a rookie. If you have Netflix and you watch King of Collectibles and you see the resurgence that the physical collectible market is having, I understand that we're moving to a digital world, but to say that, like, the flex is going to be this avatar, yes, maybe, but I think the amount, when you look at the market cap of actual physical collectibles still compared to digital, it's not even, they're like in totally different worlds. And I'm a big believer in, I think it was Goat said it in like, or maybe it was Jack, about how like, if I would love to flex my achievements from my original Halo days, or bring this, this golden weapon and whatever. I totally believe in ownership. I'm still just not sold on the concept of on-chain gaming, right? The game being built on-chain and dealing with all of the restrictions and troubleshooting and issues with something being on-chain. I believe that we will see the Xboxes and PlayStations and Nintendos of the world create some type of ownership mechanism where you can move things between games and stuff like that. I'm just not sure that we need to build games on chain yet, versus the ownership being on chain and having a callback to that ownership asset.
That's fair. I'm not building Otherside. I don't know, but my understanding that is how a lot of this is being built. Is not every transaction is going to take place on chain in real time. Now you can go collect the coin. Like, I'm really dating myself here, but like, you collect the coins in Mario Brothers. You could go collect the coin in game, and you're getting real ape chain in your wallet in real time. That's pretty cool. Like, not every step, every level of every game, everything that's built out has to be on chain. They're not building it that way, is my understanding. But the on-chain components matter, and it is a better experience. I know we got some hands. We are going to get to everyone. I would like to let Rita/Rida. I got to call him both because that's an ongoing bit here. If you're not, if you've been here for a while, and may have a hard out today. So he's involved in this drop today on this Feels drop on Amazon. I'd love to get his take. Feel free, Rita. Thanks for joining us so much. Appreciate you as always. Appreciate all that you're building in this space. Relentless builder, and add anything you'd like.
Hey man, I appreciate it.
Tell us about Feels.
I appreciate you, Capitan, Capitano, all of that. Since you're doing 2 names, I'm going to do 3.
I am. I appreciate the Capitano because I am now. I've got it. I'm becoming an honorary Latino. So I'm embracing it. I eat arepas for breakfast every single morning, and I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
No. For us, for the drop today, I mean, it's very special for us. We're a 1-year-old IP, and our IP is going to be available on Amazon. So it's very exciting. I really appreciate it, and really thank Hugo for the opportunity to bring us on there. It's Otherside on Amazon, so we're super excited. That's happening in less than half an hour or so. So it's weird time zones.
So I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific, which would be like noon Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. So about 2.5 hours.
3 hours and 38 minutes.
No, if it's at noon, it's 2 hours,
2 hours and 38 minutes. 2 hours and 38
2.5
minutes.
hours.
So sorry, I'm completely I completely suck at these time zones. I just do 1 hour plus 1 hour. Anyhow. But yeah, no, super excited for that. It will be on Amazon. There will be a G's Feels pack, which you pay, I think, close to $20, and you get 10 emotes. It's a pack, but it has 10 emotes. Those emotes are NFTs, and which you can trade each one separately.
Pretty cool, just in itself. I mean, question for
also Chimpers and Kodas get Feels pack, and Heavy Metals get a Feels pack. Yeah.
Question for you is that, are emotes tradable on any other platform? Can you do that in Roblox or Fortnite? Yes. Okay.
No. On this is the only place that can be tradable.
So I thought, and I don't know, like that in itself, to me, feels different. Is it going to send a wave of Roblox builders into Otherside tomorrow? No, but this is just one of many examples of how this is a better experience. To Joey's pushback, I don't disagree. It's a big effort to get to even come close to that scale, but what they're building is different. They real differentiators, and I also love that it's not. These are, by the way, it's the 4 brands here, as you mentioned. It's Blue Edition, which is the Kodas, Heavy Metals, Chimpers, and Emojis. Great name, by the way. Was that your doing, or did you go come up with that?
Yeah, that was me.
It's kind of brilliant.
So thank you.
I think
it's really brilliant. It's fucking awesome.
It is. I'm not blowing smoke just 'cause you're on stage with us. I think Otherside should adopt that for all their emojis. I think they should just call them all emojis, just like this. They should adopt that branding for all emojis and Otherside, and that's my feedback for the Otherside team today.
No, but I mean, I've been building on a second tier or a third tier around Otherside for quite a while. This is all experimentation, and big hats off to Garga, to Figgy, and to everybody there involved for testing this for the rest of the fucking planet.
Yep.
This is all testing. Right now, if this goes through, this goes well, you can buy these emojis or these emotes. Both, if you want to buy them in crypto, you can go grab them off Magic Eden. If you want to grab them from the biggest online retailer, you can grab them from there. I think there is no crypto rails whatsoever. You can do all this. You can get it without touching crypto whatsoever.
I love it.
While on Otherside, you can also buy them. You can also trade them on Otherside, and you don't see a crypto wallet whatsoever when you're on Otherside. So the whole thing of it being on chain, it's not really on chain. If you're coming in from Amazon, you went to Otherside, you clicked, you redeemed your code, you have your emotes. There is no crypto involved whatsoever. You're paying in US dollar, and you're receiving it in the game where you logged in with your social accounts or your Gmail account or whatever it is. There's no crypto whatsoever. If you want to go through the crypto route, you can. You can go and pick up on secondary Magic Eden, pick it up there, trade it, actually flip it, make some money, and then go on there.
I think that part, it doesn't get talked about enough. And I also think what you just described is part of the reason that when Web3 gaming, on-chain gaming had its first breakout moment in 21, 22, we weren't here. Like what you just described was not possible in the first run of on-chain gaming. It is now.
No. I mean, even I don't know if you've played with a church. You don't really. You connect with your social wallet. It creates a wallet for you, and you can transfer whatever funds. You can buy with credit card. You really don't need crypto to use Otherside. You don't need to know wallets. You don't need to know anything.
Agreed.
You can actually log in and play without any of that. If you want to do the cool stuff and you're going to get avatars, hopefully in the future you'll be able to get avatars on Otherside directly. But now you were able to get an avatar from Amazon, which is a Web 2. You paid in US dollar, you got a Boximus, and you're playing around with your Boximus on Otherside. Now you're getting emotes. And I'm sure there will be a lot of other stuff that you will be able to buy on Amazon or other retail stores or normal niche marketplaces like what we're building. But yeah, you'll be able to get hopefully wearables. You'll be able to get different stuff. And I think this economy is what others lack.
Yep, absolutely. And
best Web 2 product that ever came out of Web 3.
It was. That's a great way to put it.
Because technically, I can sell a wearable or I can sell an avatar to Machiavelli right now, and I don't have to go through Amazon. I don't have to go through you guys. I don't have to go through anybody. Right now, in Fortnite or all those other games, you can't sell directly. You have to go through the platform. You have to go through that. It's not truly yours. You have to take their permission. You have to sell your account. You have to do that type of stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Question in the chat: can anyone purchase these? Yes, anyone can purchase these on Amazon at noon Eastern today.
U.S. Amazon only.
U.S. Amazon only. Thank you for the correction. Today,
so get a VPN.
Today is U.S. Amazon only.
No, I was told that, but it's limiting and all that. For us as an IP or as a brand, even if we were on Amazon Alaska only, I'd be very proud, and I'm very proud of the accomplishment, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity from Yuga and the other side. It's fucking Amazon, whether it's US and all that, and it's just the start. As soon as these get bought, they will be sold. These are degens. They will be sold on secondary. So
it's one of the only times anyone's going to travel to the US to buy something in crypto.
No, I mean, it's in about 5 minutes from launch, you'll be able to buy them on secondary markets, which is very cool. You've this way you attract anybody, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3. So I think the on-chain thing and all that is going to disappear even more. You won't be able to see it if you don't want to see it.
I agree. You should be proud. I'm proud of you.
And that's what Figgy and Garga mentioned in Vegas during ApeFest.
Exactly.
This is the whole point, and they are building it. It's not done. It's not 100%. It's not the best experience. It's not. You can say a lot of stuff about it, but this is just building. They're building right now. I mean, if you don't think they're committed, they just bought, I'm guessing, a multi-million-dollar studio a month ago.
Not only building in public, but building with their community is one of the things that really gets me excited. How they're building with builders like yourself. You should be proud. I'm proud of you and your team and the Chippers team and the heavy metal team and everyone that's doing the thing. Because, by the way, I think they also said they're taking Yuga is taking any of their rev share that they make off this drop today and reinvesting it back into marketing the ecosystem, bring in more builders like yourself. And
we are sharing about revenue. Our revenue we are sharing with our staking, our holders who are staking their G's. So we're all trying to get. I'm trying to pass it on as Yuga passes it on to us, and hopefully I can have our builders build as well. And this is how it works, I guess.
This part of the conversation, to me, I'm guessing is very different than if we were talking about Roblox with Roblox devs today. I don't think it's quite the same. I'm not in that world, so maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is part of what makes Otherside and building on chain so special is the community element. And I do, again, I'll reiterate what I said before. I truly believe Otherside has a significant competitive advantage, not over Roblox yet, but over every other startup that's attempting to compete with Roblox. There's something really special in crypto. We've seen communities activate before. We're seeing it happen again. And it doesn't have to be like back to 21-22 when I found Top Shot, and then I found Zed Run. It was an on-chain game. I couldn't participate with a social wallet. I couldn't buy in USDC. In fact, it was my bridge to Polygon experience wasn't a bridge. It was like trying to sail across the Arctic Ocean. Like it was horrendous, like so bad and so long. It was not user friendly at all. And I could see how that would have turned off a lot of people. So yeah, we could talk about the tokenomics of Zed, or I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the first mini game that went
Axie Infinity.
Axie Infinity, right? Like it just the tech was not anywhere close to where it is today. A lot of people, to your point, they're turned off by crypto or on-chain gaming or crypto gaming. Now it's like that. Those rails are for most intents and purposes are hidden. Like it's a far better experience today than it's ever been before, and still early. It's still probably top of the first inning. We'll go to Von Frunten next, and then we'll get Jack back in here. Amazon's been mentioned a few times. I think I shared it in the Bored Ape Gazette article, but I also want to give William a shout. William, regular fan of the show here, pops in on a regular basis. This was his post tomorrow. Otherside drops Feels on Amazon. What I'm watching closely, the next wave of gaming commerce won't be driven by bigger storefronts. It'll be driven by culture plus community plus digital items that people actually want to use. Momentum is real this week. More soon. Von Frunten, we'll go to you, and then we'll get Jack in here.
Hey, GM, everybody. I came up for a totally different reason, but then we got going on this topic, and it sparked some other thoughts. So first, yeah, Rita, everybody, good luck today. Love to see it. Keep building. Last time I saw Rita was in Vegas, where he gave me shit about drinking a seltzer instead of a beer. So hopefully he's forgiven me for that. I don't know. I think the two things on this last conversation kind of really hit me, and then maybe I'll get to my original thought. I think one, the concept around digital ownership, right? I mean, we're talking to the choir here. I see it with my kid. I got a 15-year-old who plays Fortnite. I got a 12 and an 8-year-old who play Roblox and Minecraft, and ownership matters. And what on-chain, off-chain, combination of on-chain, off-chain, I kind of like the way that Rita was framing it. Sounds really cool. But like ownership does matter. Not for the reasons that we necessarily think it does. They don't care about flipping this kind of stuff. They just want to have it. They want to collect it. And so I do think that what we're seeing in the Fortnite and the Roblox and the Minecrafts of the world will continue to see kind of build out just as a general theme. It's my personal N of 3 kids doing it philosophy. So it'll be exciting to see. I do think, though, bridging to kind of my original thought of like, Cap, when you said like, hey, what are these kids going to be doing? Are they still going to be playing Roblox? I don't know, but I look at it from like a generational standpoint, like, go back even older, like the generation before ours, right? you had hobbies of like model cars and like building physical things, putting them together. What happened from there? You either continue to have hobbies and you did woodworking or whatever, or you got jobs where you would make stuff. You became an engineer and you kind of turned that passion for building into a career with the tools that you had available. Growing up, I was sitting, Steve always talks about the same thing. When I was like middle school, high school, sitting there coding old school HTML websites. And now I can sit here and I can do it with Claude, but now I can go build websites, or people, started building apps and they launched the tech industry and they're doing the things that we're doing now, building in the space. So I just wonder, I look at my kids and they are building games, they are building experiences, they are building videos to post on YouTube channels about Roblox. I got to believe that there is a market that either is just starting to exist or may not even exist yet, where they can apply those skills long term. And whether that's going to actually work for a company, or I actually think there's going to be far more entrepreneurial, like my kids now are flipping stuff on eBay because they don't necessarily want to get a job. They want to make money, but they want to do it on their terms. So that's where I think this thing's going to be going. Like what I actually think, and I think this is a great thing, I think we're going to see more Ritas in the future that are going to take this skill that they have built around building and building digitally and start companies and build experiences. And whether it is a full scale company that can build, in an Otherside space, or it's hey, I just build a game or two, I throw it on Roblox, and that's how I make my money, and that's how I make my living, and I love what I do. That's where I think the future is going to go, and I'm here for it.
I agree, man. It gets me excited. I got almost emotional this morning thinking about where tech is today and my childhood. And dude, I've been dreaming about self-driving cars and robots since I was a kid. And we're like there. Like it's becoming reality. I collected baseball cards as a kid, cardboard. Now I collect digital assets. Like this stuff does carry through to your adult life in different ways. But I think you're right. I think a lot of these kids who are playing today are the next generation of builders. I got a post pulled up here now that says, Thread Guy explains, this is a clip from the space the other day, explains how Roblox extracts 85% from its users. If someone spends $100 on your game that you created, you'll receive $16 after off-ramping and cashing out. You lose 84% pre-tax. Roblox as a company has an absolute behemoth of a business, which is why they're publicly traded and worth about $55 billion. It's basically as big as Coinbase. Rita, you don't have to share details, but I'm guessing that Yuga is not extracting 85% from any revenue you generate on this drop today.
No. We get the majority out of everybody involved. We get the majority. To be honest, I really don't even remember what the percentages was, but the majority goes to us. But I really don't know. When they told me about the opportunity, I didn't even ask. Even if they said I don't get shit, I was going to do it anyway. But it's not 85% definitely. And just to answer Von Frunten said something. One, it wasn't me in Vegas; it was Ryder in Vegas. So it wasn't me; it was the other guy. And the other thing, you can flip. My kids showed me there is dodgy marketplaces where you can sell Roblox items and COD skins and stuff like that. Where you can sell your account, you can do all that, and it's very dodgy, and it's very hard to achieve. I think it's even harder than doing that racing game on like Captain was saying earlier. That whole voyage, it's even worse, and it's even more dangerous for kids to be selling it on there. So I think personally, I think this will be adopted. The other side is an experiment, and it will succeed, and people will build on top of it, or will build something similar on Fortnite and Roblox and all that. Because there is no way that what's happening on Roblox and COD continues like this.
I agree.
Especially with the 85%.
I agree. Rita,
because these people that they're extracting 85% from are 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds. They don't know contracts. They don't know what they are owed.
Yep, exactly. By the way, Rita, you're welcome for the help with the Rita personality alter ego. I'm happy to. That's my contribution to G's. That's my contribution to Otherside. Happy to do my part here. My job is done. You're welcome. I see.
Yeah, but you see, Von Front he needs to understand that the guy he spoke to in Vegas was not me.
I get it. I get it.
No, this is the alpha here. This is the alpha that, and to be honest, I'm kind of rethinking most of the decisions that I made that weekend and since that weekend now because of it. So I appreciate the awakening here, and I will just say, if emojis ever become a thing, I am thinking of emo. Like, so I just want my G's with like some like black hair kind of swooshed over one eye. If you can make that happen, I'd really appreciate it.
We definitely need an emo.
If you promise to buy it, I will make it next week. You can buy it on our marketplace.
Done.
Amazing. I always talk about Ape Fest and any of these in real life events. I always stumble by. I introduce myself. Oh, I'm Chris, and people look at me like I don't know this person. I mean, Captain.
No, but about that emo. I'm sorry, Jack.
Good.
I know you had your hand up. It's very quickly, but like he said, yeah, do an emo haircut and all that. It can be done. I don't know if you follow Directive Creator DC. The fucker has created 50 avatars out of his imagination using AI, and he's been doing some creative stuff. And it goes from his creation to a metaverse and people playing with his avatars in about 5 to 10 minutes. I think this is proof that there are no crypto rails. Nobody is seeing the rails. Nobody's seeing the crypto. The whole process, nobody's seeing the crypto because they can buy his avatar in US dollars on OP.
Second shout out, I think creative directors got on the show today, Legend, and again, this is, I feel, part of the magic that Otherside unlocks, part of the magic that an open world, a decentralized metaverse, if you will. I also think maybe that branding isn't, maybe that we move away from that. I don't know. I'm not a branding expert. That might be the thing. Maybe they go a different route, but what they're building, part of this magic is exactly what you just described. And does he come from that background? Yeah, he's creative, but with AI now, there's so many other people can do similar, if not the same thing, with a little bit of work. They were shouting out earlier the Thread Guy avatar that he made in like real time last night. It's really exciting.
He's not a 3D modeler. He's not a 3D modeler. He's definitely not a modeler. He has 3D experience, but he's not a modeler. It's amazing. I think that's, nobody's telling him do this, do that, or you can't do this and you can't do that, and give us 80% of the revenue. Nobody's telling him any of that. You guys not even asking for that. No, they don't ask for anything.
Yeah, not
what
only
you guys doing is helping us as a studio, for example, to create as many avatars for as many communities as possible. As a studio, I think we've done 80 plus different communities, avatars, and we're still building. We're still launching on a daily basis.
Help me understand. First of all, very impressive. Help me understand, like when you first started that process of creating avatars, of 3D modeling, compared to where it is now, how much more efficient has it become with these new tools? Like I have Director Creative pulled up here and the 50 avatars that he's created, not having that modeling experience. But like, I don't even know how you would measure that, or like on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard and timely was it before versus where it is now?
Look, I mean, it's a lot easier, and it's getting easier by the day. Unfortunately, with the modeling, the more details and the more where it's not just straightforward going from a 2D image to a 3D model. It's not straightforward. It's getting there. There are some tools that are doing a very impressive job of turning a 2D image into a 3D model. But sometimes 2D images do not look like something that would go to 3D. So it's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. We do use AI for prototyping. We use AI for referencing. Let's say we only have the top part of the body. We use AI to imagine the bottom part of the body. We imagine the back of the body, how it would look. It does a great job. It does texturing. It helps with texturing. It helps with rigging. It helps with processes. It does a lot. We are so far from where we were 3 months ago, 6 months ago.
I love it. People are asking what's the handle. It's Director Creative's the name. The handle is Escaption, CAPATION. I just pinned I think I pinned a post. I will pin a post up top here in a second. Also, I'm back to not seeing any hands. The hand I do see is Jack. So Jack, I'm going to go to you. And then if you see any other hands, I see Machiavelli's just popped up. Feel free to hand it off to the next hand you see, or if you saw other hands prior to Machiavelli's, Jack, go and get back in here.
Yeah, look, the conversation moved on quite a bit from when I raised my hand, but I think fundamentally, going back to Joey's take all the way through to what we've been discussing now, the blockchain does not need to be this like thing that is even clicked on or on the surface. I think fundamentally the thing I like about what the blockchain does is it gives you an opportunity to move out of these closed systems. Like the idea that you can't currently buy and sell and trade for any of these popular games, obviously that's because they want their royalties and obviously they want control of the market. But at the same time, if there was another model that brought them in more money, I'm assuming they would go for it. I assume it's purely finance that is stopping them from moving to that model. And I think blockchain does offer them that opportunity, like just a wider market. Like if you look at Pokemon cards right now, it's the ability to trade that has built a completely new ecosystem. And funnily enough, Pokemon doesn't run all the trading centers in the world, nor do they take a cut of eBay or any of the companies that I'm aware of that are selling these cards back and forth. But it does, I think it's one of the most valuable IPs on the planet, if not the most valuable IP on the planet. So obviously something's working there. And I think this is where my brain turns out with all of this stuff is, okay, blockchain doesn't need to be at the front and center, but if you can just verify an asset is real definitively, whether that then becomes a physical or not, and you can do that with technology that already exists and people are building on top of that technology, so the user experience is much better than it is today. I don't see how that model wins out, and I don't see why anyone would try and build something differently when the technology is already here today on the blockchain and it's working and you can just integrate that. Like this is, to me, I think really just the defining characteristic that is going to push us forward within this space is the fact that eventually people will realize there's more money on it. They will realize the technology is already there to do it in a way where scams can't happen and fakes can't happen, etc. And then we will get a product, whether it be the other side who does it because, we need somebody Web3 who's going to take that gamble first before another company is going to come in and risk the billions they already make each year. I don't know. I could just as easily see some of these assets coming on chain in terms of like Grand Theft Auto if that becomes a metaverse. And I don't know what's going to come out first to the masses, Otherside or Grand Theft Auto. The way Grand Theft Auto is delaying, probably Otherside. But regardless, like if you have a Rolex in real life, but you want to flex that, most people are going to think that's fake. If you send a picture now, you don't even have to own a fake Rolex. AI will do it for you. Like the idea that we don't need this verification of assets and an ability to flex digitally in a way where, basically you definitively can say you own that product and people can trust that 100% even when they see an image. I think that's where the blockchain wins.
Yeah, well said. We're going to go back to Rita since it's a big day for him. And then I am having some issues with X. I saw Blue was up and down, and then Berg had a few failed attempts. But I've got hands that I see. We're going to go Rita, and then back to Machiavelli. Then we'll get Blue, and then Berg in here. And then it's probably close to closing time. But
I'm just aura farming. Don't mind me.
I figured. I wasn't minding you until I see the hand. Rita, go. Thanks for joining us, though. Rita, go ahead.
But to answer Jack, I think Roblox and Fortnite and Apple with their App Store is 100% greed and monopolizing the creators. I think they can switch to a blockchain in no time, and I'm sure they've experimented it. And them keeping it closed is not fair to the creators. And this is why I love Otherside and why I love Yuga, because they're putting their creators above themselves. In all honesty, I know everybody says differently, but this has been my experience, and I can tell you a lot of the builders that are building aside us or next to us or in other teams and other companies will tell you the same. We are not sharing revenue. We are not doing any of that. On quite the contrary, we're getting supported by them to create more and push more. So I think those guys are just greedy, pure greed. Nothing more than that. I mean, if Apple App Store was apps were free to be made, I think the apps on the phones would be a lot more creative than they are today.
I agree, and it's going to be interesting how things progress in this world of vibe coding and AI, and the volume of apps being created is, I can imagine, is an all-time high, at least trending higher than ever been before.
And if you've ever built an app, there is a bottleneck, right? Where when it comes to Apple, the bottleneck starts fucking showing up.
Even when you get approved and you're in the App Store, any given day or moment, Apple could have could wake up on the wrong side of the bed, whoever's in control of that, and take your app down or send you a
100%. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very.
Even Elon had that problem.
Yep. I do have, Rita, I got one more question from you from the chat. Rich Brian says, if we're a community who wants to get an avatar of high quality, who do we reach out to? I know there's artist communities who have not yet entered the other side, but if we want to enter, and as noted, we don't want to rush in and get a lower quality product because the tech advances so quickly. Any recommendations for someone who wants to bring in their avatars to other side?
You can reach out to me. You can reach out to the other games team. You can reach out to anyone in Yuga or Otherside. They'll either point you to us or to the artists that have been creating stuff for them. And if you have an artist or you've created a model, James will onboard you direct.
Love it.
But yeah, reach out to me, Machiavelli, or anybody from the other games team can help as well.
I'm going to, since James did join us here and just got invoked, I am going to let him cut the line. Machiavelli, Berg, and Blue, I promise we will get to you. If I got to go long, we will. James, welcome. Big day for you and the other side team. Appreciate your time this morning. I know you've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Feel free to take it whichever direction you like. I'm not sure how much of the conversation you've caught, but a lot of collective excitement around not just Fields drop, but other side.
To be honest with you, I'm so sorry. I was in a meeting that started at 9:30. I hopped over to Twitter when it was done. I saw Otherside Meta on yours. I was like, oh shit, let me hop in and say hello and everything. So happy to answer questions. Happy to give my thoughts on whatever. So yeah, let me know what you'd like to know and I'll give what I can. Super excited for today. We have 4 community packs coming out of something we call feels. So when you go into Otherside, like it's like the stickers, kind of think of stickers of Fortnite and things like that. They kind of pop up above your head. They're animated. They're just fun little ways to communicate without having to say too much. But happy to dive in any direction you want. I probably have 5-10 minutes to chat.
Awesome. So as we go around the horn here, Mac, Blue, and Berg, if you do have a question for James, let's maybe do that, and then I'll come back to you. My one question, or actually suggestion, because I said it earlier, said I'd pass along to the other side teams. I think for the emotes in Otherside, I think you should brand them all as emojis. As long as Rita doesn't object, I think it's a brilliant branding for emotes, and a big fan. And that's my 2 cents. Is I think you should adopt those across the board and just call all the emojis in Otherside emojis.
I'm not sure how much Rita paid you for that, but that that can be taken under consideration.
No compensation has been received today.
For 80, he's taking 80% of revenue, like Roblox.
84%, I believe, is what we just discussed recently. In all seriousness, James, that was a conversation. And since you're up here, I asked Rita, I go, I'm guessing that Yuga is not taking 84% of every dollar you make today off this drop pre-tax. Are you able to share? And I also saw that the revenue Yuga is making is going back into marketing to attract other builders like Rita and the Heavy Metal crew and the Chimpers crew. Are you able to speak to any of the financial model in terms of the rev split or share on drops like this? No pressure, obligation.
I don't think I am.
Okay.
So I'm gonna err on the side of caution and not lose my job today. So,
totally get it.
That would be devastating. But no, I do know that we are splitting it with the communities. So obviously we're trying to make sure that and I think it's okay to say that they are getting more than us. So it's not like we're giving them a small part and we're taking a big part of it. I think the community gets more than us.
Love it. That was kind of the assumption. Yeah. And again, no, not trying to put you on the spot there. I just,
of course not.
We were talking about
never,
it. So
it doesn't ever bother me. I'm always happy to say I can't answer that or move on. It makes me feel like a politician. It's great.
Perfect. James dialing in from Davos this morning.
That's right.
Machiavelli, question for James.
Yeah, well, no. Let's let everybody else ask questions. I have direct access to that. Yeah, let's let.
Machiavelli's not allowed to ask me questions on Spaces. He has me in DM. He's fine.
Blue GM, question for James.
Hey, GM. I have a question. Are there any tips on how not to get kicked out of Amazon and have all those issues like before? I got played and lost 4 Boximus. Like, I'm still waiting for the Amazon store air quote to send it to me from the fulfillment center.
You know, we talked with the Amazon team a good bit about that afterwards in like a team retro. You know, and for some reason, all of their security systems went absolutely bananas on that drop. We've been assured that, like, you know, they know that this is coming today, so we shouldn't see those blips today. Fingers crossed. But you know, when working with a big brand like that, sometimes these things do happen, and we're trying to make it as smooth as possible we can for everybody. Did I just like rug on everyone, or can you guys still hear me?
No, we got you.
No, loud and clear.
Dude, this Twitter thing on desktop, sometimes it like just refreshes the entire like space, like UI. I'm so sorry. And I just totally like, okay, anyways.
It's all good. It's been buggy, extra buggy lately too.
Yeah. But no, Amazon's been a great partner with us. And, you know, we've talked about all this stuff, and I know they're on alert today. So hopefully this one's a lot more smoother than last time. And here's the thing. If not, we'll make it smooth next time. We'll just keep working on it. This is an iterative process, right? Crawl, walk, run. That's why the first drop we did was very, very small and limited. We wanted to see how it ran. We saw some stuff. Now we're going to try it on this one. We'll just kind of keep stretching our legs, right? Let's just keep stretching our legs as we go. We've got a long road here. You know, this is building a really, really great like experience from the ground up in public. And so we're just really trying to make sure that like we do all the right things as we can. So if you guys get hit with problems, you know, just let us know. We'll try and help you guys all work them out. And I'm sorry you ran into that with the Boximus.
All good. And Blue, you're not alone. I did as well. I took a victory lap that my purchase went through, got the confirmation, and later it did not. I was too late. I was too slow on my draw. I was fine with it though, because I miss a good gas war, and that was the closest thing I've got to a gas war for a minute. So
I know I do miss those. I mean, I don't know. I hate them, but I miss them at the same time. It's very strange. It's very strange.
I am that's another suggestion for Otherside. Bring back the gas wars in a controlled environment. But
could you imagine? Oh, let's just do like a fake gas war where everyone still gets it, but you just feel the panic of not getting it.
Not everyone gets it. Like, you got to learn how to mint on contract. But you're not burning thousands of dollars of ETH. But this is also my opportunity to FUD the GUI experiment that just went down, and I got not eligible there. But I'm going to move on. And
did anyone actually get eligible? I don't think I saw anyone who said they were eligible.
The people who actually got eligible were ones that also spent tens or hundreds of thousands in gas, and I think their airdrop was like $17, and they had to force stake it for 30 days. So no one missed out a whole lot, but it is a artificial honeypot, because everyone that claimed is forced to stake for 30 days, so no one can sell. Number just goes up, and it looks like it's a successful launch.
Got farmed.
Yeah, we all got farmed. Berg, appreciate you powering through the X issues. Again, it's been a little extra buggy lately. We keep getting listeners up, and they fall down and up again. Berg, GM, question for James while we got him. If you made it, Berg, if you're there, check 1, check 2. Not seeing off mute. James, before I know you got to get out of here. Anything that we maybe didn't hit on since you've been on the show? Anything that you wanted to share specifically regarding this Feels drop today, or Otherside in general, that maybe we haven't touched on yet?
You know, I'm just really appreciative for everyone who does support it and checks it out. You know, we have a lot of communities who are kind of reinvigorating themselves with coming into Otherside and having fun with other games, and just having a new spot to kind of play around with their communities. You know, as we move forward, we're still building really fun experiences in there. We're excited for other folks to be doing that. And yeah, if you have questions, obviously we have Otherside Discord. We have some forums everywhere. Like, you know, hit me up on Twitter. Like, I'll try and answer what I can. If your community or anyone who wants to kind of get onboarded, you know, there's docs for getting avatars in. For Feels, we're working on docs if they're not already out. So, I mean, we're just trying to make it as easy as possible. And even as we move forward right now, there's like this like it feels somewhat gated because we're making sure everything comes through. But the long-term vision is making this all self-service, right? Like you create the things, you say, cool, I want this in, and it all kind of goes in on its own. That's like the key for decentralization and having this kind of like interoperable, like, metaverse type experience. It's very interesting. It's almost like someone was tweeting about this yesterday. I was like, someone should build this. And hey, guess what? We are building it. You know what I mean? Like it's already been built. People are experiencing it every day.
That's how we started this conversation. We kicked it off with TG. I think I commented like, you just described what Otherside's building almost to a T. I got your quote tweet pulled up here on video. It is the perfect image to use for a quote tweet. No comment.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, wait, where's that one picture of Blue like staring through the blinds? Man. I was like, I had to do it.
Yeah, well done.
It's wild. The collective forgottenness of people wanting, people wanting to fade Yuga and keep hating on us is absolutely incredible. And we're still here building really, really cool stuff. But you know what? It just fuels us. So we'll just keep building cool shit and people can come and play if they want to.
Yep. And I don't know. I wasn't talking to our guy. I'm not communicating with him regarding this. Someone said earlier, like, had he possibly forgotten? Yeah, I think he did. I don't think he admitted his like hate or taking a shot at the other side.
I actually think you're right. I actually think that like a lot of folks do a lot of things, and his past has been very exciting. I'm sure he's done a lot of things, so maybe he's forgotten about some things that are still hanging around in Web3. So, I think it's a good reminder, and it got a lot of action, and a lot of us were able to remind him. So hopefully, you can come and check it out.
Agreed. Berg, I saw you made it back up. We'll try again. Let's see if we can get the mic working this time. GM, you got a quick question for James? He's got to get out of here soon.
GM. No, not really. The only question was probably, why did they go with the name Feels?
Yeah, one, I think we are trying to think of something unique to Otherside, and what does it kind of portray? It's kind of portraying how you feel without having to speak about it or throw something up. So we just kind of ran with, how you are in your feels. There's different animations for different moods, and that's the way it went.
Awesome, thanks.
Emojis all the way. Emojis.
I agree.
80%, GEEEEZ, right?
Yeah, feels is good. Emojis is it's like chef's kiss. One more. I saw Agents flew up. Agent, quick question before we let everyone get out of here and on with their day.
No. I actually just wanted to come up and ask a little bit to James, like, how does I saw him on mute. So like, how do you feel about like people that are so in tune with this Web3 space that aren't so in tune with what's actually building out here?
I'm not sure how to answer that question. Can you say it in a different way? I'm happy to answer it. I don't know what you're asking, actually.
I think he's.
I can answer on your behalf.
I got it. It's fine.
No, I'm mainly saying because like, a big conversation as Kat brought up, like, Thread Guy talking about like, like who's building this, and clearly there's moves being made, and like I've also heard Jonah and some other people like talking about like, why certain things might not work out the way they are, but I like kind of like want to see like what builders are thinking, like the people that are building this out, like what their take is on like really what this rollout is going to be like in the coming months.
For sure. No, and I think it's fair to have folks talk about their thoughts, right? Like everyone has a thought on how things are going to go, and I don't take any offense to that. I'm busy building the thing that we need to build, and I think it's important when you are a builder to kind of have blinders on and keep your eye focused on what you think is the right goal, right? And I think by doing that, it's good to get feedback from folks, and it's also good to get criticism. Like I love criticism as long as it's like met with good intent, right? Like if someone wants to criticize the work that we're doing, as long as they have like positive, like enforcement on it or whatever. That's not the right way to say that, but like I appreciate critical feedback when it's meant positively, but if someone wants to shit on something, that's also their prerogative, and that's fine. So I think I don't try and worry myself about what folks are saying about this, because you've got to focus on your own stuff. And I think that's for any founder. Like you need to build what you believe is your vision and what the right thing is to move forward. And I think that's how you show and prove. But yeah, I hope that answers the question.
It does. And I don't claim to speak for you or Otherside or Yuga at all. On this earlier, it's also not time to go mass marketing. It's also like you're in beta, like you're building in public, like you're experimenting, and it's not really ready to let's turn on the marketing faucet yet. Oxy says I'm in this space every single day, and if I didn't join CWC, I wouldn't know a single thing about Otherside. I think there's a lot of people that are in this space every day. There's so much going on. The tension is fleeting. There's always a meta of the day, of the week, of the month, and it's easy to not pay attention to something that is a multi-year build.
Yeah.
It's a massive project. So this is not a low effort cash grab. This is not a dev spinning up a meme coin in 30 seconds. This is a massive Herculean effort. And when it doesn't happen tomorrow, a lot of people, they just don't have the patience for that, and they go move on. They do other things. It's maybe my read is wrong. I think it's in due time would be my thinking.
Yeah. And like when people are ready to come check it out, they'll check it out, and that's okay.
Agreed. James, really appreciate that. We do have a few other hands. We will get to them. If you got a heart out though, by all means.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang for a second. If folks want to ask me one more thing, I probably have like 5 more minutes I can go.
Okay, awesome. So if we could maybe keep the questions to specific for James, since we have him here. Let's go back to Berg, and then we will. I see Jonah's hands up as well, so he must be more.
I don't have a question for James.
Okay, let's go. Jonah, you got a question for James?
Not a question, just feedback. Fix the physics. If you fix the physics, everything else will work.
I know, dude. I watched your stream when you were doing it. You're like, dude, this physics. It's like I heard that. I was like, motherfucker, Jonah, we need to fix the physics for Jonah.
If you fix the physics, I think you can win. I don't like, because like advertising is just a money game, and if the engine is good and Web3 wants to rally around something, you'll get the money.
100%.
But it's not ready yet for prime time. So I'm actually glad it's not viral yet, because the physics need to be fixed first. And if you fix the physics, you've got something real.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Jonah, and I love what you're working on as well, man. I love the stuff that you're working on.
Good stuff. Mac, I know you said no questions for James since you have access, but you've been patient. We're going to go to you. You don't have to ask James a question, but take it whichever direction you'd like.
I just want everybody to come out tonight after me at the clubhouse. We're doing the Token Gators experience. You know what I'm saying? Just come see what the other games does live in real time. And you don't need anything but an email or an X account. And you'll be able to see some of those feels and all of those other avatars and everything. And it's really a great social experience. And then we have some fun like the old days. You know what I'm saying? We'll play some fun games and stuff. And the Token Gators are doing something really special today in the swamp. So like I said, meet at the clubhouse, 6 p.m. in the actual clubhouse. It's in a free bubble, so anybody can listen to the meeting and all that stuff. But yeah, come out and experience the other side, especially if you haven't yet.
Good stuff. Appreciate you sharing. Good plug. Appreciate you being here and all that you're doing, building in the other side, along with, again, Rita and the G's team and Heavy Metals and Chimpers. And it is truly part of what excites me so much, is that it is the community. This drop today with Amazon, major partner, is focused 3/4 of it. 3/4 of those packs are communities. It's not a coda and an ape and a mutant and a dog. It's here's a coda and then here's 3 other community projects. I think that gets me just as excited as all the other stuff we talked about today. Is not exactly what you guys building with Otherside, but how they're building it, truly building in public. It's refreshing for all the stuff that we've seen come and go, all the low effort stuff, all the pump and dumps, all the scam ICOs this past week. It's refreshing that how you're doing things. And so please pass along my kudos and appreciation to the rest of the team, James. Agent, go ahead. Back to you.
Just real quick. I think it's fair to say, though, that like the Otherside team, Yuga Labs, has close to zero marketing that they're pushing forward on this, like, soft launch until now. Like you could arguably say that this Amazon launch is going to be the first kind of like, push that they're doing to it, which is still experimental. I think everything before is still, like, you could say, like a soft beta, like almost alpha version of everything. So like I love the critiques that have been put out across the board, because I think, like, obviously James and the team and everyone involved is taking the criticism, and they're going to build forward a bigger experience. I'm just interested to see if anyone has the data on this, like if this much interaction, if this was much, you could say criticism, but like this much feedback was given to, like, a 1 year, 6 month version of Roblox, Minecraft, and all that. Like, I think it's in a good path. Like, you know, and having that push behind like Amazon. Like, I don't know if like, you know, bigger brands like Nintendo and Xbox and all these bigger platforms had that kind of support early on. I think it's in a good road. Like, you know, I mean, for not doing the whole marketing push. Because I am I mistaken to say that like really no extra marketing has been done into this, like for the mainstream, like, you know, attention.
Yeah, I think that is fair and great take. I don't know this. I had to just Google it. Roblox was founded in 2004, 22 years ago. That was their beta phase. It took them 2 years to answer your question. They actually didn't launch publicly until September of 2006, almost 20 years ago. But development actually even started in 2003 before they actually were founded in early 2004. I would love to see like an overlay of the Roblox journey compared to the Fortnite journey compared to Otherside journey. And I think it's often easy to say, oh, well, they've got such a lead. Well, they should have. They've been building for 20 years. Like, it's very different. Yeah, great call out there. Let's go. And Julie, I see we lost you again. I apologize. X is, I don't know what space they're doing today. It's been very challenging to keep people up on stage. They're up, they're down. And I know it's on you. Maybe take a quick lap and try one more time. But let's go to Berg, and then if no other hands, we'll let everyone get on with their day. Appreciate all the conversation. Really enjoyed the space. Berg, go ahead.
Appreciate it, and love some of the talking points today. I actually want to take it back to something Jack and Ryder were kind of talking about. I agree a lot with what Jack said, and in terms of the kind of closed market ecosystems versus open market, obviously, I think Ryder's right. I think there is quite a high level of greed from the likes of Fortnite or Roblox, where they're basically not being forced to move to an open model. And they've obviously started off closed model because that made more economic sense for them. And I think over time, there will be such competition where they will potentially be forced to go into an open market model. Well, on something Jack said, there is actually a video game out there that has been around for decades and actually does have an open market model, and it's Counter-Strike. And I think this example has been brought up a couple of times prior when this discussion has been had, but Counter-Strike, it's not fully open market. You can sell the skins on Steam and you'd get Steam credit and where you can buy other games, but you can't cash it out. But if you sold the skins on a third-party website, you would be able to actually cash out that money into your bank account. And Counter-Strike, the level, I feel like they've been able to sustain as a game, and it's brought a massive amount of revenue to Valve, the creators, just through how bonkers the skin marketplace is. Like, we're talking about skins going for 6 figures. Like, it really is the pre-NFTs and, you know, all of us coming into this space. It was mind blowing. Like, most people haven't heard of Counter-Strike. Well, most people don't play Counter-Strike or aren't familiar with how crazy the marketplace is for the skins. But it really is insane. It's like NFTs pre-NFTs. You're talking about, like, you know, rare skins, rare stickers that go onto the skins, selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some skins valued at like over $1 million. So that's all to basically say, I think open market is the way forward. I think Otherside is going to be one of those pioneers that takes that mantle and tries to make it the norm going forward. And I think it'll be a good thing. And I think video games in general I don't think it's over. I know it's been rough with like Web3 and video games, like that cross section hasn't had the best of times, but I do think that is going to be a huge part of the future of digital assets, because that is where the youth today, the younger generations, that is where they're being exposed to the most digital assets. And going back to, I can't remember who was talking about it, but someone said about their son who was on Roblox, and it was like whoever had the most skins was like the coolest kid. That is truly the reality, that these younger generations are living in. And obviously, as they grow up, I think, Captain, you said, like, I don't believe that they're going to stay on Roblox when they're in their 20s. I think Roblox will try to adapt. They'll try and keep them for sure. They're not blind to that, but I do think they're going to move to other places, and whether Otherside is one of them, I could see that being a potential. I could see that being a possibility, but for sure, the future is open market ecosystems where you can cash out your skins, or what Jack said, where he can flex his Halo skin that he got, or his COD skin he got back in the day, and he can still flex it today. Whereas right now we're stuck in these closed ecosystems where I have friends who've spent lots of money on skins in Valorant, let's say, or on League of Legends, and they're closed into that ecosystem. And if Valorant dies next year and never comes back, all that money is lost. How does that make sense? It's not just, to Ryder's point, it's not just the creators that they're screwing over. They're actually screwing over the consumers as well. All the people spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on skins that can't cash it out, that have no use for it once that game loses popularity.
Yeah, man. Well said. A lot of great takes today. Also, Mayhem in the War Room. I'm sorry, I ignored most of that chat today. Said Roblox actually took off in 2016. So started building in 23, founded in 2004, 2003, founded in 2004, went public went out of beta in 2006. 10 years later, after exiting beta, is when it finally took off. So 10 years ago, after they'd been building for over a decade, is when they finally achieved mainstream adoption and really started capturing market share. So again, I'm back to that. It would be cool to see the overlay of what, those first few years of Roblox, Fortnite, etc., and where Otherside is today. And the one thing I will give Yuga credit, not the one thing, several things I'll give Yuga credit for, but one is from the jump, they've said this wasn't an instant thing. This was a lengthy project, a big build, and was going to take years in the making. And we'll go to Agent and Blue for a quick one. I got to get out of here pretty soon, but really have enjoyed the conversation. A lot of great dialogue today, and this is not a sponsored space. I've been sponsored by Ape Chain in the past, the DAO. We have no existing current engagement. I do hold some assets, but my feelings are genuine. The reason I still hold those assets is I mean everything I've said today. And so, yes, I guess I do have bags. I couldn't even tell you what the floor price is. I'm guessing it's below 0.1. I really have no clue. It's not something I'm looking to sell. If feel free to go Zwingli Vault. Feel free to go check those. I think that's no, it's a different wallet, but you can find it by way of Zwingli Vault. Anyways, those assets aren't moving. They're there until this thing becomes, Roblox-esque, and then I'll dump on your heads, but not until then. Agent, go ahead, and then we'll go back to Blue.
Cap, just to clarify, I am invested. I do have chain assets and everything, including G's and a lot of others. But I do want to clarify one thing, I do want to highlight one thing. CS also had a little pushback because it is super centralized. Recently, I think it was just a few months back, they completely swapped, which hurt a lot of longtime investors. Just how their assets work. So I think that's the big problem that why Web3 and maybe Otherside or some other solution in the long run could be something that people do want to get invested to, and why some users may float into a decentralized concept. I've heard James, and I don't want to quote him directly, but he said yeah, you guys want to bring assets, we're welcome to that. We built here. And I think that'll be responsibilities. If I don't want to speak for Rita either, but if he wants to build something, his own experience, and bring value to his community, it's not going to be so under just what Otherside decides. So we've all seen that, even going to World of Warcraft days, where you can't take these assets and move them into other worlds, other experiences, and stuff like that. I think Web3 will bring that, but it does take time to build. And we're still all trying to figure it out. And I don't think laws are lenient to that at the moment, but I think we're going to see some clarification in the time forward. I just will say, with loot boxes and everything, CS, I don't know if it's such a great example either.
Can I respond to that, Captain?
Go for it. Yep, absolutely. And then we'll go to Blue.
I get it. I get it. Counter-Strike, yeah, loot boxes isn't amazing. That's almost another topic. I would push back on the centralized bit because yes, they did have that change recently where you could I don't know, I think you could trade like 4 red skins for a knife, and that collapsed some of the marketplace, some of the market prices off the bat. But as someone who's a long time user, CS is still, as someone who plays a lot of video games, CS is not like completely in another stratosphere to most other ecosystems. And I'll explain it like this. For example, when I played Counter-Strike for 4 or 5 years, like 6 or 7 years ago, I was gifted these loot crates as a reward for playing a lot of hours, and these were worth like pennies back when I got them. There's now one of them is worth like $20 or like $30. This was something, and yes, I could sell it for $30 on the Steam marketplace and get that as credit and use that to buy more games. And yes, that is still, I get it. Like I'm not actually able to cash it out from that. But if I go to as I said, a third-party website, I can actually cash those out as real dollars or real pounds. And that is crazy because when we look at like the next something that has I know skins that have value right now, Fortnite, for example, or at least they used to. Like a lot of people would kind of say like, oh, you have this insane skin, like that skin would actually trade for like $1,000, but you'd have to sell your entire account because there is no open marketplace.
Exactly.
There's no way of getting those skins off of that account. So Counter-Strike is revolutionary. I do think it is a really, really good example for the people who really, really understand that game and have used the marketplace a lot. It is one of the indicators for me as someone who's so into video games and into Web3, where I know that NFTs is going to be a big thing because I can already see it happening with Counter-Strike skins.
Yeah, well said.
10 years prior.
Well said. Appreciate you sharing. Definitely. I mean, from Counter-Strike to, I mean, let's not forget part of the catalyst for Ethereum becoming a thing was Vitalik got his World of Warcraft character nerfed. And that was part of the catalyst for him building a decentralized permissionless blockchain that could store digital assets. Like, I've got a whole other ETH bull take and compared to Bitcoin, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow. We'll go back to Blue here in a second, but I probably have another memeable face when I open not this deed here that's got a current offer for 0.25 ETH when the floor is like 0.08. It's one of only 39. I don't know how you say this resource, Abyssia. I'm guessing that's why it's got the higher offer because nothing else is really. Does have it's obsidian environment, but the collectors collect. That's the other thing here is like these deeds are still, some of the premium deeds are still getting premium offers. And then the where I got the face was I opened this one and I saw Omni resource. The floor on that trait is 29 ETH. I said I wouldn't sell any deeds. If someone wants to put an offer on this specific asset here, I'll give you a discount today, 25 ETH. I will run to the sell sign. I'll let this fly today. I will sell one of my deeds for 25 ETH if anyone is buying. Consider it sold. 25 ETH. I'll let it fly. But I kid, but not really. I'm dead serious on that. I would let it fly, even though it's super rare. Only 61 of them out of 100,000 deeds. I would take 80 grand or so, and I'd buy at least 2 more deeds as a result of the big sale. Also, while I'm here, I don't go to this wallet often. There are some Coda Maras in there. I'd actually forgotten about Maras. Another conversation for another day. And then shout out to the Grail Rec guy. I this thing needs to get more love on the timeline. The GM hoodie, the Noun glasses, just absolute fire there. I miss the NFT days. And also rest in peace, Ringa. This samurai the robot was a Grail at one point, but I'm getting too nostalgic about NFTs that once were worth several ETH and now I could get 0.28. Take us home here. I saw another hand, but it's gone. Looks like we lost Blue. My apologies. I don't know what's going on with X, but I do appreciate y'all being here today. Thanks for hanging out 23 extra minutes with us. As always, we run this show live every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. If you've not already subscribed over on YouTube, that's my one call to action. Geo.Funcodes, great call. Meta, you get one for the reminder. Machiavelli gets one. And I'm trying to scan some quick comments. anyone else who, I'll do this. So it's Meta. Shoot me a DM right now, OX Meta, just so I see it at the top of my DMs. Mac, do the same thing. And then I think that leaves me with 2 left. The next 2 people that DM me for that GL.fun code, I will send those codes over, those ref codes over ASAP. I think there's like 5, maybe 3 or 4 hours left on that to get in there. So I did forget. Meta, thank you for reminding me. For the reminder, you get one of those codes. Just shoot me a DM. Make sure I will see it there, top of my DM inbox. I would check it as soon as I get off the show, and we'll get this over to you here momentarily. But appreciate y'all being here today. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time, like always. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.